All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and here with me is my co-host, Nick Muley. And so we got a very special topic to cover tonight. This is this film is something I've enjoyed during my teenage years, and yeah, a film that I've grown quite a fondness of. It's called Creepshow, and this year actually marks its 40th anniversary. It was released in 1982.
That's right. One of your subscribers is here, Don.
No, my friend, what's up? Love this movie. The second movie, and I've seen TV show was good too. Never seen movie 3.
Good thing you haven't.
Be thankful you have not seen movie 3. It is a complete
It's
train wreck.
not worth watching. Do not watch it. I
No,
don't even consider that the real Creepshow 3.
no, it is not. It does not deserve to be called Creepshow. The third film, like I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it looks like a complete mess. It's everything that the first two films are not.
Yeah, I've only seen the trailer of it, and the trailer was enough.
Yeah.
Even the trailer was not even professionally made in a good way.
No, it was not. Terrible editing, terrible camera work. It was seriously the whole
And
movie. The trailer just tells me everything I need to know.
not to mention that George A. Romero and Stephen King had no part of that film whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Nice Guy, it's for sure. Yeah, like the third film, avoid at all costs.
Yeah, it looks like another one of your subscribers is here.
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Hello. Oh, hi there, Paul. That's the first time one of your subscribers has said hello to me, Don.
Nice.
Jeremy, two creepy guys talking about a creepy show titled Creepshow.
Well, we're not talking about the show per se in this segment. We're just focusing on the movies. But yeah,
I think he's more joking about it.
well, yeah, I figured. But yeah, the Creepshow, the Shudder series, we're definitely gonna have to cover somewhere down the road. Yeah, we definitely gotta. Yeah, and
I gotta play something for you. Hopefully, you could hear this.
okay, let's hear it.
I always love that theme song that they play with that. So,
oh, me too. Yeah, the guy who did the music for this, like, just nailed it with not only just that title song, but just with setting the tone for like all of the stories. Yeah,
it also has like that cartoonish sound to it as well. That's what it's like creepy and fun at the same time. And hey, it kind of lives up to the tagline. It's to give that feeling of the most fun you'll ever have being scared.
oh yeah, and yeah, this is a really a fun movie. I consider this to be one of the more tame out of like some of the films written by Stephen King. You know, because like it has an R rating, yeah, but I do consider it tame compared to most of the things that I've seen.
If it was made in modern day standards, it probably would have gotten a PG-13 rating instead of an R rating because it just really, yes, it does have that childlike aspect of it. And it does have it really does look like a movie for kids because there's animation to it. It gives the comic feeling. Even the introduction, it looks like something, the best way I can really describe it, it really looks like something out of a Disney movie in a way. And in fact, some people have always said this will probably be as close as we'll ever see to an R-rated Disney movie.
Yeah, probably. But
hello, Charles from Texas.
Charles from Texas. Oh yeah. Hey, Charles.
What's that?
Yeah, Charles. Love Texas. Great state.
I haven't been to Texas yet. I've been still trying though.
It's worth going.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, yeah.
Just haven't had the chance, but hopefully soon. It's a mixture of Stephen King Tales from the Crypt. Absolutely, it is.
Absolutely is. And
wow, you got a lot of your subscribers watching, Don. This is the most amount of comments I've seen from YouTube from a show. Usually it's always Facebook, but this is the first time I'm seeing mostly YouTube comments.
I'm very happy to see that. And in response to your comment, Billy, yeah, mixture of Stephen King and Tales from the Crypt. That's because this film is hugely inspired by the horror comics from the 1950s.
Yep, the EC comics.
The EC comics, yeah, which had Vault of Horror and, of course, Tales from the Crypt, which later on in 1989 would be adapted into the hit HBO series, which ran about, 7 seasons. And I had a lot of fun watching that as a teenager.
Don't forget 2 movies, too. 3 movies they made.
Yeah, Bordello of Blood and
Demon Knight.
Demon Knight, yes.
And they made a third one, which probably was the weakest out of the three. It was just simply called Ritual. And to
Mhm.
make matters worse, the Crypt Keeper scenes they cut out. So it's like, it's really just the two movies. It's really just the Tales from the Crypt series and really the two movies.
Oh man, it's like, come on, the Crypt Keeper was one of the best things about Tales from the Crypt, and they're just gonna leave him out.
Yeah, I know. It's like you cannot think of Tales from the Crypt, especially with his classic cackle that he always makes.
Yeah, John Kassir, he's a great voice actor.
I tried even mimicking his voice in one of my audio stories for that book, The
Yeah,
Sandman.
yeah, I can't do it. It's like,
It's
wow.
obviously I already knew for a fact that there was no way I was going to obviously sound exactly that same way, but it was as close as I can get. And I can tell you right now, when you try voicing the Crypt Keeper, it's not easy. It's not easy the least bit.
Yeah,
Hey, Irene from
great.
Tokyo, Japan. Good to see you, Irene.
Good to yep. Hello, Irene. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, tonight's episode we're focusing on Creepshow. Big cult classic of the '80s, a true horror anthology gem. You know, let's see, Tales from the
Tales
Crypt
from the
Show is
Crypt,
awesome.
awesome show.
Yep, plus
Lost
connection
connection
with
with Billy Loomis.
Billy. Oh, well, I think I know.
Oh, I know who I know what they're talking about. Yep.
But yeah, Tales from the Crypt. I should bring this up though. What I'd like to know is, since this is an HBO series, how come it's not available on HBO Max? I mean, you would think they put it on.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I have no idea. I mean, it's an HBO original series. I mean, sure they did air it on Sci-Fi Channel though, but it's still HBO's property.
It even managed to make its way briefly too on to Svengoolie years ago. They
Oh, yeah.
showed 3 episodes as like one film special, and then they later showed Demon Knight.
Yeah, and it's hold on.
Yeah, see, look, Billy's like, wait, it's not on HBO Max.
Nope, sorry, Billy, it's not. I mean, I cannot understand why they would put that on there, and not to mention like all the yeah. You look back at that show, you look at all the celebrities that were in that. Like, oh man,
Oh, here's what he said. I believe Warner Brothers owns the show now. Yeah. That would explain why it hasn't even been on television for like any, as like a Halloween special or anything like that. I mean, every now and again I'll see like Demon Knight playing, but for the most part, it's just the show just never airs.
Yep. I hear you. I don't understand it. But so yeah, Creepshow. What I love about this is that it's basically like collaborative effort of two of the biggest names in horror. George A. Romero, the man who is behind the modern zombie. Yeah, he basically created zombies starting with Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and so on. And also Stephen King, who wrote the screenplay. It's just wow. It's really like it's just amazing how these two managed to pull this off. It's like, and the thing is, a lot of people think it's like based on the those comic books like from Vault of Horror and Tales from the Crypt, but actually it's they are in the style of that, but the stories were all written by Stephen King himself.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, two of those stories, the Lonely Death of Jordy Verrill and The Crate, both of them were stories that he had published prior to Creepshow.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is that he made them prior before the movie was ever made.
Oh yeah, the rest of them were written into the script, into the movie. So yeah,
And
I also,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was about to say, and I also love how Stephen King just plays a main role as Jordy Verrill in the Lonely Death of Jordy Verrill, because with just about all of his work you've seen adapted into film, he plays like cameo appearances. Like the minister in Pet Sematary, the pharmacist in Thinner, yeah, and most recently in the new It movies, It Chapter 2, he plays the store clerk or store owner.
That's amazing. And
know,
Jeremy makes a good point. The 80s gave us the greatest pairings. King and Romero and King and Carpenter. Very true.
King and Carpenter, Christine,
yeah, which was just released a year after Creepshow.
Yeah.
You got already someone who's decided what's his favorite stories. He loves Father's Day and The Raft and Creepshow.
Yeah, the Raft I believe was in Creepshow 2. Yeah, like
yeah, that was in the second one. I actually first thought he said the crate, but then I look back, I'm like, oh wait, he's talking about the raft.
Right.
I love that line, King delivering his part. No, not there. Oh my
Okay.
god. This machine called me an asshole. That cameo
Oh,
kills
yeah,
me.
that's from Maximum Overdrive, where the machines start coming to life, rebelling against mankind, and then an ATM machine of all things starts insulting Stephen King, who's playing a he just plays just an innocent patron of an ATM machine and gets insulted.
I like what Nick's just said. When you see
Oh man.
people in the cast of a movie, you see some people not playing a character.
Yeah, like some people like were this. I was saying, Stephen King. Oh, he's kind of a bit of an oddball, and I'm just thinking, you know what? Say what you want about him, but there's no doubt that he's incredibly brilliant. Just gifted and just absolutely creative when it comes to his work. When it comes to storytelling, and it shows. I mean, just about all of his work has been adapted to film.
That is very true.
Yeah,
Don,
and
I actually want to tell you quickly. I mean, when we have a chance, I actually do have a video I would like to share that actually is in association with Creepshow, but even more amazingly, it's actually an interview from that time from Tom Savini, who spoke about Creepshow, and even more amazingly, get this too. This might surprise you.
Mhm.
The show that he was interviewing when he was talking about Creepshow is I'm probably only going to show like 2 or 3 minutes of it because it is a long interview, but it's an amazing one because where he got the show that he was interviewed on with this to talk about Creepshow
Yeah.
was actually on Nickelodeon.
What?
He got someone a number of years ago, someone sent me a rare interview clip of Tom Savini from 1982, who of course, obviously makes that brief appearance at the end of the film and who worked on the special effects. And he actually appeared on a show on Nickelodeon to talk about Creepshow.
That's insane.
So I got to show that to you at some point when we have the chance.
Oh yes, definitely. And
Um,
here.
he did have a cocaine addiction at one point. Who is he talking about?
Talking about Stephen King. To my knowledge, I believe that Stephen King had alcoholism, which he
Oh,
makes.
really?
Yeah, which he does make references on in some characters throughout to some of his stories. Like there's very often he writes in a character who is an alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I've
I
noticed.
didn't know he had a drug problem.
Yeah, I mean, when he wrote Cujo, he says he barely remembers even writing it, because he was still going through his alcoholism. So yeah, like a brilliant writer, he's so good at storytelling that he's able to create a best-selling novel while drunk.
Well, drunk and high on cocaine. Jeez.
Like, wow,
Angela's on.
wow. Oh, Angelo, hey, how's it going, man? Thank you for joining us.
And that's why he wrote the infamous sewer scene in the It book.
Oh, that's it. It's like it is a close second as far as my favorite Stephen King book. Close second to The Stand. That's my favorite story. Do you remember 2001?
You remember 2001? Is he talking about 2001: A Space Odyssey, or?
I don't think so. I think he's talking about like something that happened to Stephen King in the year 2001.
I know. One time, Stephen King once had made the confession in an interview at one point, saying that because all this talk about drugs, he said that he remembered he was high on peyote, went to go see 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was like a full acid trip.
Huh.
And it gave him this idea to make one of his movies. What the hell was that movie that inspired? I don't know if it was the same one, but apparently one of his drug addiction, like one of his drug reactions, inspired him to make this film. Nope, I'm not joking, Billy. This apparently the show was on Nickelodeon from the early '80s, and the cast that he interviewed was
Smallville.
Okay,
yeah.
The cast that the people that were in the audience, I think a lot of them were mostly teenagers. So there were, even though it was meant to be really an R-rated movie, there were basically, from what I understand, a lot of kids that were really looking forward to it. Of course, even though it was rated R, it was still back in the day where they didn't really give a care in hell that you were under 17 to see a film. Pickle Tom, what's up? So I'm sure even when it was released, even though it was rated R, I'm sure a lot of kids must have saw this movie when it came out, not realizing how, even though it's not that gory, Although considering the fourth story, it's still pretty graphic in a way.
The fourth story, the crate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, what I just love about this film is just how well, like how they just gathered up a really strong cast in this. Let's see, there was let's see,
Of course, you had
Adrian
Stephen King, as we mentioned, of course.
Stephen King, yes, Adrian Barbeau, who is the actress and also ex-wife of horror director John Carpenter. Who else?
Who was
Hal
also in the
Holbrook.
fog? Who was also in the fog just 2 years earlier?
Oh yes. And let's see, Leslie Nielsen, which I was kind of surprised seeing him play a villain in this because he always is in comedies, like Airplane and Scary Movie
Naked
3 and
Gun.
4. Naked Gun.
You would think out of all the actors that they would choose that Leslie Nielsen would be in a film like this. You just never, and I even remember seeing it for the first time, like, wait a second, isn't that the guy from Naked Gun? And it definitely was. So I didn't have to get too far because just who he was. But I think it was really meant to be that kind of film where they were trying to get like big names just to appear in this fun little film.
Oh yes. And let's see, who else? Ed Harris,
Ed Harris.
Ted Danson. Wasn't he in Cheers, I believe? Ted Danson?
I think so.
Some kind of one of those.
Who was the guy that he was in the crate story? The guy who took care of the whole situation.
I think it was Hal Holbrook, if I remember right.
Holbrook. Yeah, it was. I was just looking it up. And it's interesting for him. He had starred in a number of horror movies throughout the years. Although sadly, I think as we all know, he passed away last year. He was in his mid-90s when he passed away. But he was also, additionally, very much like when you just mentioned about Adrian Barbeau, he also was in the movie The Fog. And also, additionally, he was in another slasher film just like 2 years later. It was, oh man, what was that movie that he was in? It was like, see, I actually have the list right here. What was that movie?
Jade is saying most geniuses have been known to take some sort of substance.
What's up, Joe?
And open up their senses of cognition. So many.
Good to see you, Jill.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, Jill.
Was before or after Nielsen did Airplane? I think it was afterwards, because didn't that come out in the late 70s?
I was thinking late 70s, early 80s. I knew, I just never looked at the year was made. Let me figure that out now.
I kept thinking it came out in 1978, so I thought I would have assumed that it would have been right around there.
Yep, it was 1980.
Yeah, okay, so now I just found out what the other movie that Hal Holbrook was in. It actually came out the same year as Creepshow did, and that was the 1982 slasher film Girls' Night Outs.
Oh yeah.
Really thought Adrian Barbeau passed. It was Hal Holbrook who passed away last year.
Yeah, and this film also has another Fog cast member. What was his name? We've met him before. It was Tom Atkinson.
Tom Atkinson, yep. He was in it, and we had the honor of meeting him at a Flashback Weekend convention. And my God, Don, I got to tell you now about that. That was 10 years ago that we saw him.
Yeah, I know, man. It was, wow. Time flies, man.
Time flies, but he was an awesome guy. It was definitely an honor to meet him, because he not only did that movie, of course, he did a lot of horror films throughout the 80s and 90s and even up to the early 2000s.
Yeah, the ones that stand out most for me was when he was in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, and let's see, Night of the Creeps. He played
Night of the Creeps.
Yep. But in this,
he was also even in the remake of My Bloody Valentine.
Yep. Yeah, he also was what was in that action movie, Lethal Weapon. He was.
He was in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, he played like Danny Glover's friend in that. Yeah, that film had Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. That whole buddy cop action movie thing.
He starred in a lot of horror movies, but he also starred in a lot of other genres. I mean, he is really that typical actor where he just loves to play with different genres, and he's really good at it.
He is. He's good at, but he's proven in this film that not only is he good at playing a good guy, but also a villain, because he played like an abusive dad who was like taking the comic books, throwing them out, and then just berating his son Billy for having them. And Billy, by the way, played by Stephen King's son,
His
Uh,
real son.
his real life son, Joe King, or now he goes by the name Joe Hill when he writes his novels. Because my guess, I would say, is he goes by Joe Hill because when you go by his name Joe King, it sounds like the word joking. So,
Well, I think that
and
had to have been his son's first ever time, that probably his debut of ever appearing on on in a movie. So it must have been quite an exciting time for him to actually appear. I mean, if it's the way how I've always seen that, it's like if this was true father son bonding, they definitely did, appearing in a movie together, even though they're not in the same scene together, but working in on the same film. I mean,
yeah.
that's like true father son bonding right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I actually looked at a recent picture of Joe Hill. Look at this. He looks so much like his dad.
Wow, yeah, he really does. He's what now, like in his
Like in his
late
40s.
40s or
He was 10 years old at the time this movie. No, he's got to be like 50 now because he was about 10
50?
years old
Okay,
when this movie
I
was
thought
made.
he was 8. So now I want to read what Tom just put down. This is a big one. So Creepshow and the sequel were among my favorites. The original being more so a favorite. I loved it all. The sequel was lacking in a lot that it was produced and directed by other people, but it was also missing the comic book feel that the first movie had. They
Yeah,
instead relied on animation cutscenes, which were cool, but not the same.
yeah. The second one did feel pretty different. I mean, I will say like the sequel, it's not the best sequel, but I at the same time I have seen worse.
they The stories themselves are still pretty good. I still
Oh
like
yeah,
the stories. And I'm actually going to correct myself from what I said earlier. I think that one actually had more of a Disney feel to it, because there's like actually a story in the animated sequences in between the stories themselves. So again, you go on YouTube and you watch the animated sequel like sequences, people will say the same thing like I did. They'll say this will be as close as we'll ever see to like an R-rated Disney movie, because it did have that Disney like, it had more of that Disney like feel in the second one than it did in the first one. The first one was more comic feel.
oh yeah, and yeah, I just love how the kind of the way they shot these parts of the film, like or well not shot, but like edited, like created threw in like these borders around them and or changed like to make it look like you're looking at a book panel, like gives you that comic book sort of a feel to it, visually, like and also adding like lighted colors in certain scenes, like
Right.
yeah, really make it look certain parts look like comic book images. So the cinematographers and the guys who did lighting, like all that, they really nailed it.
Oh, yeah, they definitely did. Another thing that Tom just wrote down. However, one really cool thing the second one had, and I didn't find this out until recently, and yes, I knew this. Tom
Yes.
Savini played the creep in heavy makeup, but it's funny to think, however, he played the creep, but it was someone else who did the voice of the creep.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just learned that recently. Like that's pretty crazy.
Saw Adrian Barbeau in an episode of the Netflix Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop. I gotta start watching that show. I hear it's good.
I've heard about it. I grew up with it. And I never saw it, not because I was interested. I just never saw it. That came out, I think didn't that come out like in the mid to late 90s? I know it was a
I don't.
anime series.
Yeah, it was an anime series. It only lasted for like one season, I think. But
It did, and I think
just
that was back in the day when, because I remember it was broadcasted on Adult Swim on Saturday nights. That was back in the day when they used to show the anime shows for Adult Swim Saturday night
I remember that.
sequences.
Yeah.
Does Joe Hill return in the sequel? No, it's not him who's in the sequel. That's who played Billy in the second one.
I didn't look. I didn't. I don't think I looked him up at. I don't think I looked that part of it up. Hang on one second. Let me look it up.
Yeah, because that was he looks like Joe, but I know it's somebody else, and it's been debated over the years. Is
Oh,
this
here.
the same Billy? Is this sorry, what?
Dominic John. That's his name.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, I
never
don't
heard of
know
it.
who that is. But
Oh,
no, what I was gonna say was for
here's what I never
years
heard. It's his
that's his
only
only
role.
movie?
Yeah,
Really?
according to this. Yeah.
Wow. Well, um, I don't know, but I was gonna say there's been debates over the years if this is supposed to be the same Billy from the first movie, but it's never really been explained. Joe
Oh yeah,
Hill's, yep, he is.
he is. Yep, 50.
Oh, and
Let's
it's
see.
They eat
Oh,
meats.
Venus flytraps
The
from
Venus
yeah,
flytraps.
from Creepshow 2 in that animated sequence.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tom, I didn't know this. Adrian Barbeau was also in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah, Adrian Barbeau was in all kinds of things. Yeah, I remember
I
her in
didn't. I mean, I know she was, but I didn't even know she was in Sons of Anarchy.
oh yeah, I remember her in Swamp Thing. That was another
Swamp Thing. Yep.
was directed by Wes Craven, and she also did the voice of. I remember. Let's
Oh,
see, in video games too. She did a voice in Halo 4. She also did the voice of, let's see, Hera in God of War 3. So
shoot. I just saw this comment. What Jill said. Are you seeing comments on your personal pages? Because there's quite a few. Oh crap! Oh crap! Damn it!
what's wrong?
There's been a few people watching and commenting. First off, Rochelle was, saying her hello, and then Adam Hefty was on. He's like, here's what he said through the comments, and this is a line you're going to be very familiar with, Tom. I want my cake. And Stephen King was super coked up on maximum overdrive.
Oh,
Savini
geez.
is my hero. It's Hefty. No, Stephen King was definitely coked up. I have Savini's Grande Illusions, book 1 and 2. Oh wait, he wants to be in this conversation. I'm going to see if he wants to come on with us.
Okay, and also the whole "Where's my cake" thing. I felt like that was a pretty unique way to take on the whole zombie thing. But I don't actually consider Nathan that from that story, Father's Day, that whole take on Nathan coming back as a zombie. It feels like more like it's a revenant because he comes back with a purpose.
Yeah, it's that's what I've been hearing. It's that he's
Yeah.
actually even the Wikipedia page says that he's a revenant in the film.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Not as, because unlike, he's more of a revenant than a zombie, because he's not here to eat human flesh. He just wants his cake.
yeah, and I think this is like a much better. I think Father's Day is a much better situation than the typical zombies who are feeding on human flesh. So all you need to do is give this guy a cake. And I'm thinking, oh, so this guy wants cake? Okay, here, let me just look up on my my recipe keeper app, see if he wants, let's see, chocolate or red velvet.
Yeah. Now it makes you wonder, Don, if you ever become a dad yourself. I mean, you're gonna want your cake too, and
I wouldn't
you
be
have to figure out what cake you want.
I would be absolutely nothing like that psycho Nate that was depicted in that flashback. Just wheelchair, just like pain down and just. Oh, my God, that was ridiculous. Here.
Oh. Jill, thanks.
To prevent missing information on the personal page, you should only broadcast to Things Network and then post the links.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start doing that more often, Don. Just in it, because the problem is, like I said, when we broadcast on our personal pages, and this becomes so frustrating, that is, we just don't get the comments. So that's why now I'm looking at these comments, because Jill had mentioned about it, and I feel bad. I just sent the link. I think Tom Nelly might also be coming on too. So we might have a little bit of a group chat tonight.
I was just about to ask you, like, if Tom wanted to come on, because I would love to have him.
Yeah, Adam just said he'll be on shortly. I'm going to send an invite for Tom.
All right. Wait, Adam is coming onto this?
Not the Adam you know. This is I know you haven't met him before, but this is Adam Hep TV. He was on that show Paranormal Witness. That's great, Paranormal Witness. I used to co-host with him on that show Paranormal Mysteries. He's a very good friend of mine. You're gonna love him. He's awesome. He's hugely into horror. He's also among one of the narrators that took part in my Nightmare Soup book. Well, recording, not my book, but the recording. So you're gonna meet one of the other. You're gonna love him. He's awesome. Just wait. Just you wait.
Hey,
but
so
now I'm sending the invite for Tom.
All right, nice. Oh, and Nick, before I want to ask you, what's your favorite segment of Creepshow? The first one, the first movie.
My first favorite one. Oh my God. Man, that's a tough choice to make.
I know there's so.
I'm probably gonna have to go with probably the story Something to Tide You Over. I think I like that one a lot, and not because of Leslie Nielsen. I just liked how it really is that kind of story that really does give that utter helpless feeling in that story.
Yeah, like forcing people at gunpoint to bury themselves and then drown in the tide. My God.
And they say that, well,
One that I feel like
if
it has some
you hold your breath long enough, the tide will set you free. But you can only take so much to hold your breath when you're underwater. That even if that is true, I mean, it obviously showed there is no guarantee to survival. But of course, obviously, in a supernatural way, it's like they sold their souls to the devil and came back from a watery grave.
Oh man, yeah, like yeah. The moral of that story is, don't cheat on a psychopath, especially if it's a unstable Leslie Nielsen. And my favorite story, I think my favorite story is oh wait, here before we get to that, have you seen the third?
No, nope. We have
seen
not seen that.
pieces.
It's not even considered the true Creepshow, in my opinion.
No. I have only seen bits and pieces of it, and that's all I needed to see. I'm not watching the rest of it.
I saw the trailer years ago, and that was enough.
I'm just going to say this. If there is a third I would like to consider one film an honorary third film of the Creepshow series, and that is Tales from the Dark Side. Even though it doesn't have the title Creepshow in it, I'm still considering it part of the series.
Everybody has considered that to be the true Creepshow 3 because it has like 3 or 4 stories in it. I can't remember how many there were. There were like 3 or 4 of them, I think.
Oh yeah, and the third Creepshow it sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm actually looking up right now. So, Tales from the Dark Side, Oh wow, I didn't know there was an animated.
Julianne Moore. Yeah, it had Julianne Moore in it. It had, I think, Christian Slater, if I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah, he was. Matthew Lawrence. Oh, Steve. How do you say his last name?
I say like Steve Buscemi.
Yep, he's in it.
Yeah, I remember him from Reservoir Dogs.
That was one of
his best films.
Yeah, it was, but quite an interesting film. Okay, so it depicts a kidnapped paper boy who tells 3 stories of horror to the suburban witch who is preparing to eat him.
Yeah.
And I got to point out something about that film too. Yes, it is. It's awful. The other I got to say for wait, what's the name to what?
What's the name?
Sure what.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jeremy.
So, an interesting fact about Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, was one of the stories in that film. Now, what people don't know, for those who've seen Creepshow 2, when they were in the production of making Creepshow 2, just like the first one, they were planning on having 5. They were going to have 5 stories in this movie. So they wanted to continue on with the tradition of the first one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was because of budgetary reasons or they just because of time constraints or whatever, they had no choice but to knock it down to just 3 stories. Now, essentially, one of those stories that was supposed to be in Creepshow 2, which was another Stephen King tale, which was a story called Cat from Hell, which is the second segment in the film from Stephen King's 1977 short story, which was also written by George A. Romero.
Yeah, they featured that in Tales from the Dark Side. Cat
That's
from
what
Hell.
I was going to get to. So, even though it never made its way into Creepshow 2, it was almost like on the other story. I can't remember what the other story was, but you can kind of say to save, even though it never made its way to Creepshow 2, it's like as if they basically saved it from extinction. So instead of being Creepshow 2, it ended up making its way into Tales from the Dark Side. So not all was lost. As far as the 5th story, which I'll have to look it up, but unfortunately, that was the only tale that was never made in any way, shape, or form for a film.
Oh yeah, I just want to mention my favorite story. Like I have 2 favorite stories from Creepshow. The first one is the lonely death of Jordy Verrill, because I just love Stephen King's like performance as a dim-witted country
bumpkin. I just love how funny he is in that movie. It really is. He's just awesome.
Yeah, it's like you play just the only time I can think of where he played a main role in one of his stories, and also he's a hugely intelligent and creative, talented man in real life, just playing a country bumpkin. Just the thought of that is hilarious. But and then like where he just comes across like a meteorite that causes instant plant life to grow. Yeah, like and overnight he just starts developing like patches of of this of plants just
It's like,
growing.
yeah, it's like extraterrestrial grass.
Yeah, because he handled that meteor. And yeah, and to the point where it spreads all over him, but then he gets
Oh, here's Tom Nelly. Pickle Tom, what's up?
How's it going, man?
That's great.
I just had that mental picture in my head of Stephen King doing it like meteor shit.
Yeah, meteor shit.
Yep, and it spreads all of his body to the point where he becomes something that I can only describe as part man and part marijuana plant.
It kind of he did look like a really big bud. I gotta say.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine right now if he accidentally set himself on fire? Boy, that smell would permeate for miles. Like, that's some good weed right there.
But he would be high as shit while he was going, you know?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Nick. Yeah, like at that moment of the film where he's completely covered head to toe, and I'm right now at that moment, I'm just picturing Mr. Mackey from South Park just walking in and just being like,
I think drugs are bad.
Yeah, and just being like, Stephen King, did you turn yourself into marijuana?
Drugs are bad.
Marijuana's bad, guy.
Oh, kids. Oh, Mr. Mackey.
Oh, man.
Up and looks like we got it. You guys ready? You ready to meet Adam Dunn? Here he is.
Yep.
Adam, what's up?
Hey, Adam.
I love the mask. That is awesome.
What is that? Your name in binary code?
Oh. Yeah, I was figuring that's what that was.
I've seen that before in a picture, but I've never seen it in video before. I love Nick's comment. Okay.
There, marijuana's bad, Stephen King. Okay.
I don't know if this guy's talking, but I don't hear him.
Is your mic on?
Oh. It is now. Sorry about
there
that.
You go.
There we go. There we go. We thought you were just being silent.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't see the comments earlier, Adam, because again, personal profiles apparently you just can't see the comments.
No, I know. Dom, it's a pleasure to meet you finally. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I was watching this. I had to get in on this, man. Creepshow, one of my favorite movies, man. One of my favorite series. Just phenomenal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Somebody said the third Creepshow is off. There was a third Creepshow.
It was terrible. There was like a haunted radio, and it was ridiculous. It was under the Laurel name only. It had nothing to do with George Romero or Stephen King. Just Laurel Entertainment. I think got Taurus Entertainment bought it out or bought the rights to the name or something, and then that's what became Creepshow 3, and it was terrible.
It's horrible. I have not seen that movie.
I've not either, and I don't think I want to.
No, yeah, I won't.
I mean, the second one. I mean, I don't want to say the second one was bad enough. I mean, the second one was good.
Yeah,
as a standalone movie.
Well, you had Michael Gornick directing. Okay, yeah. Who was Romero's DP for Dawn and all that good stuff. You had a couple of makeup artist changes with Ed French and a few other people. Yeah,
I think. Look
right.
at me, I'm like so knowledgeable on this shit.
Rehab is trying to get the escape man in the wheelchair.
And I think actually two of the parts of the second movie were originally supposed to be in the first movie, but they were canceled out. Like I think it was the raft and what was it called? The one with the hitchhiker.
The hitchhiker. The hitchhiker. Yeah.
Thanks for the ride, lady.
I always make fun of that part of just that guy in the hitchhiker because of how repetitive that is. I'm just like, thanks for the ride, lady. Hey, really, thanks for the ride. Did I have mentioned thanks for the ride? If not,
That was his.
Going to cost you, Mrs. Lansing.
It's amazing he was able to still do that, even at the end where he had his face crushed against that tree from the car multiple times.
Just hanging off.
It was affectionately known as the Muppet.
Mutilated to the point where he doesn't even look human anymore.
Yeah, the way the jaw and everything in his face is so messed up. It's like, how do you even formulate words with the way, like,
it's impossible.
It's crazy. And in the second one, they had nothing but setbacks, like due to weather and this and that. It was just crazy. Like when they did the raft.
Yeah, it was freezing.
Cool.
Yeah,
like they were cool.
That's just not them just acting. You could tell they're actually freezing.
Right, because that chick's nipples were like diamonds. You know.
Well, the other thing was, and I decided to look this up, and I just mentioned that how when they made the second Creepshow movie, they were going to include 2 other stories, and I just looked it up, Don, to answer the question for you. So the other 2 stories was Cat from Hell and Pinfall that they were set to appear in the film, but sadly they were scrapped due to budgetary reasons. So I was correct, but it says, however, the latter, Cat from Hell, has been filmed for Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Now
which the TV show was great.
Oh yeah, Tales from the Dark Side was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was an animated series to that.
Yeah, I consider Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, to be like the honorary 3rd Creepshow film.
Yep.
But the show,
I still have a Fangoria from when that movie came. Let's see if I can't pull that out. Actually,
man
you guys talk about
in the sunlit world that he believes to be reality, but there is unseen by most.
Oh, that's awesome!
Sweet.
I remember that one. Wait, didn't that skit right there that have was her Ray
Dawn Chong? That's Tommy Chong's daughter. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
She played like the human version of the monster. Like
she was not to do that. I love that it had Blondie's Deborah Harry as the witch, though.
Oh yeah,
in the beginning, I think that was phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh,
for the wraparound segment, yeah.
Come on, we don't have all day. I
gotta baste you, little bastard. I mean, but what?
Yeah, this definitely had Tales from the Dark Side definitely had a good cast. Nick and I were just discussing how one of the stories had Steve Buscemi, let's see, Christian Slater, and also what was her name?
Oh, you're talking of now I forgot the name.
Julianne Moore. Yeah. These were early roles for them. This is like before they really made it big.
It's like Brad Pitt and Cutting Glass, and Kevin Bacon and Friday the 13th.
Yep.
They're all cutting their teeth in the horror genre. Johnny Depp, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yada yada.
Steve Buscemi, the one with the mummy.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Lot 42. I actually just picked that up on DVD. I got my collection back there, but I just picked up Tales from the Dark Side because.
Oh wait, no, I haven't got nothing.
I was gonna say that's impressive.
Yeah, I see. I
got my collection right here.
I know you got a nice collection. I love that Jaws poster, man. Jaws is my favorite horror movie, dude.
I got this as a kid. My dad got it for me, so all I need to do is get it signed by Spielberg, and I'm all set.
Yeah, let me know how that goes, buddy.
Adam, did you hear before that? Actually, I saw Jaws at a couple weeks ago at a movie theater.
Yeah, in the 3D, right?
Oh, that was amazing. See,
absolutely.
It didn't really do much, but it did make some of the scenes realistic, definitely. So, seen the movie plenty of times, but I still would recommend seeing it in the theater.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Great.
Your comment, Jill. Thank you. We are all awesome.
Later.
No, she said I screenshot this because you're all.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I was trying to say that earlier. Yeah, apparently done. There's a screenshot of us now.
Even with my bad hair day,
me too, man.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry.
My hair is getting long. You can't tell right now because I have it it's all greasy right now from working all day. But
fair enough.
It's there you go.
Yeah, and I thought how Creepshow played a huge role in in bringing popularity to the horror anthology subgenre. because since then we've had all kinds of different horror anthologies, like especially now in modern times. Like let's see, one of my favorites is this Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat. They had a few. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey Nick, we definitely got to cover this in an episode.
Yeah.
Are you excited for Terrifier 2, Don?
VHS franchise, these are good too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the Nightmare on Elm
actually
Street
showed me one of
franchise
the
is good, except for the
movies
second
a few
movie
weeks
because that
ago.
one sucks.
What were you saying, Tom?
I said, and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is cool too, except for the second movie because that one sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where Freddy's coming through the dude Jesse.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that.
that's true.
It was stupid. That's kind of like the Halloween movie where I know a lot of people like it, but it's like the Halloween movie that had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Oh,
where it was all about the
3?
masks.
Yeah, that's because like John Carpenter wanted to create the Halloween franchise as like an anthology. He attempted
that
that
didn't
was
work.
going to be meant to be an anthology film.
Yeah,
Halloween
by creating
2 was going to be the last movie to feature Michael Myers literally forever. Originally.
Yeah, because and Halloween 3, he tried to introduce a whole new story, completely different from the first two films. No Michael Myers, nothing. Instead, it's about a company that wants to commit mass genocide with these, with these
Silver
masks.
Shamrock man.
Happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
I still remember that theme song.
Silver Shamrock.
You know what? I don't know if you guys knew this. They said had the third one be a very had it been successful, they said that because they wanted to try to play different themes in the Halloween series. They said had the third one, which was kind of like a mad scientist type film, if you kind of look at it very carefully. They said the fourth one probably would would eventually become Halloween 4, probably would have been a ghost story.
Yeah, but Halloween 3 had got very poorly was poorly received by audiences because everyone's just like, "Where's Michael Myers? Where's Michael Myers?" So
Technically, he was in the movie, but he was on the television.
Yeah,
They were
Tom
showing
Atkins.
the original one, yeah.
Tom Atkins, who was in Creepshow, and
Right.
I will say this: like, I was
Didn't
like,
he play the dad?
Yeah, he was the dad.
Yeah.
Where he gets this horrible crap from.
Yep, and like that's the thing. I'm so used to seeing him play the hero in horror films, but to see him play a completely different, like to play an abusive
bad guy,
and also seeing him like just rough up Stephen King's son. It's like bad mistake.
And he had no mustache either in that one. He was babyface.
He doesn't have a mustache in it.
Time for another shot, Dad.
Yeah, I don't think he had a mustache in The Fog either.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not.
But other than that,
Let's see,
he always had one.
Thrill
I'm
me.
just so used to seeing him with a mustache in most of those movies. It's always kind of weird not seeing that.
Oh yeah,
And it's like when Alex Trebek came back with no musteach, It's like, no. What are you doing?
Wait, was that posthumously? Because that's kind of creepy. Alex Trebek came back as a question-asking zombie.
Guys, I'll be right back because I do have something I would like to show you guys that's involving Creepshow. So I'll be right back, Don. Give me just a minute.
All right.
Actually, I do too. I have. Hold on. Don. You guys, hold on.
Wait. One of these guys is coming back with the creature from the crate.
That's one of my favorite segments of that film is the crate.
And Tom Savini made that thing, right?
Yep, he made that thing, and the crew. It's like an ape-like creature that comes from the crates, from an Arctic expedition from 1830s, and how it managed to survive over 150 years without food, water, or nourishment of any kind is anyone's
Under the
guess.
stairs of a college or whatever it was. I think it was a college.
Yep, how it stayed alive all that time is anyone's guess. Yep, you see just those eyes, and of course the cast and crew and Romero, they all gave it a nice, very fitting name, Fluffy.
Yes,
they did. They called it Fluffy.
I do. I have the graphic novel, but I think it fell behind my couch, so I'd have to pick it up. But in the interim, here's Tom Savini's book where he goes into all sorts of fun stuff about Creepshow.
Oh, awesome!
I would love to go to that school he has where like just all the things are like hanging all over the place and just interview him. That would be.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He does have a makeup effects school.
Yeah. I don't forget. I guess it's California.
It's Tom Blasco School of Makeup. I believe it's in New York and LA.
Oh,
See,
I
everybody named
wanted
Tom
to
is
go.
cool.
So I wanted to show you guys, all this talk of Creepshow. I think I might have shown some of you guys this before,
I
but
see that.
I've
Oh
seen
no,
this.
that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. Actually, Nick's got it. Yeah.
Yes.
yep, the complete replica of the Creepshow comic from the movie.
I
got
my cake.
What's
Yep.
cool about it is that now you could really actually read what's in the comic book, because in the movie you only see it for a split few seconds before it goes right into the storyline. And even more amazingly,
At the beginning and the end of each segment.
well,
Yep, I
even
just
more
love it.
amazingly, they even went as far as to cutting
Oh,
out.
they clipped the coupon.
They clipped the coupon off, so the old-fashioned voodoo doll, but it looks like someone already ordered it, so I can't
Well,
get
that's
that.
Hey, you ordered it, Nick. The question is, who did you make the voodoo doll represent?
no,
Dom
it was already
Santicero.
ordered. I didn't order it myself.
Yep. No, seriously, who did you make the voodoo doll of?
Whoever invented Gorilla Glue.
Always with
What I was
that.
gonna say- what I was going to say, Don, was we'll talk about that later.
I love that.
It was Dom Santicero. I know.
I'm just
Co-owner of BB3 TV.
You guys remember like this scene, like right before they got to the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill?
Oh yeah.
Creepy correspondence. So now you can actually read what's. So I'm just going to read like one here. This is probably my favorite one. So like all the fan made mails. It says in one of these, Dear Creep, all I can say is wow. I haven't seen a bunch of nauseating rubbish since the days of Tales from the Crypt and the Haunt of Fear. I hope you'll do lots of stories about people being buried alive. They have always been my favorites. Here's hoping there'll always be a creep show. Brian Hall, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And he responds back. He says, Brian, I think my heart just melted into a puddle of green slime, that is. If stories about people being buried alive is your cup of blood, just check out Something to Tide You Over. Is this okay? And if you want some more nauseating rubbish to look at, find a mirror. Just kidding, Bri. The Creep.
I can hold my breath for a long time.
Awesome. Oh, Don, you should know about this. Jeremy just put this down. Greg, cancel the show for tonight so you can go on for however long we'd like. Awesome.
Okay, that's great.
And
I wanted to mention my other favorite story, the crates. And that has Adrienne Barbeau, John, who's actress who's been in a lot of John Carpenter films. So his ex-wife, and in this role, she plays something that I was not used to seeing. She played like a pretty unlikable,
Well,
a
she
pretty
always played a
unlikable
bitch.
character. An alcoholic who constantly verbally abuses her husband.
Hate those kind of people.
And let's see. And like the crates, as I mentioned, it features that creature who's the crew and Romero had affectionately named Fluffy, because nothing says Fluffy like a man-eating ape-like creature based on like the Yeti from the Himalayas. I believe that's what it's based on.
Yeah, I think
Oddly
it was supposed to be like it was like a snow creature, so I think it was supposed to be like a Yeti of some sort.
Not
I
only
believe it was also
Adrian-
shipped to Julia Carpenter.
Not only was
throwing
Adrian in Sons of
Yeah.
Anarchy, but Hal
Oh, yeah.
was also in Sons of Anarchy too. He played Gemma's mom, or Gemma's mom. Gemma's
Gemma's
dad.
mom.
Yeah, that would be, hey, so how you doing? No.
Yes, Jill, I saw that screenshot. That way, I just want to say I saw
Like-
that screenshot, Jill. That is awesome. She took a snapshot of us.
So he
Don,
played Katie
you'll have to check
Seagal's
it out. It's
dad.
a perfect picture too.
All right, I
Wow,
guess.
really?
I guess.
Okay,
A
so
perfect picture of me? That doesn't exist.
Adrienne Barbeau did such a wonderful job making you hate her and actually wanting her dead at the story. She's such a wonderful.
I know. The
actress.
first time
She
I
is.
saw it, when he actually shot her, I was disappointed when I realized it was just a daydream.
just a hallucination.
I saw that. I was just thinking, what's going on here? These people are like applauding, saying nice shot. I'm like, okay, something's up here.
I also want to point out, actually, it's a really cool, and I noticed it back when I won't go into my, because I'm late to the show, so I won't go into how I got turned on to Creepshow. But I always noticed there was something wrong with when Billy was talking about Emily Vanderbilt, and she said, or whoever that etiquette crotch is. Now, the dubbing never matched up to the mouth. So if you go back, there's an awesome behind the scenes, like 2-hour documentary on it called Just Desserts. And she indeed uses the C word, but they even dub it out in the R-rated version.
Oh my
when
God.
she's talking about it, I'm like, really? I'm like, that was the line in that movie was.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, no, it's called. I think you can still find it on YouTube if you look, but it's called Just Desserts. I believe it was put out by Red Shirt Pictures. With anybody who's familiar with documentaries or behind the scenes stuff, it is a gentleman that does these very cohesive behind the scenes looks at horror movies and deep dives. And they put out it's basically, like I said, a 2-hour documentary called Just Desserts about Creepshow, and that is they indeed. And if you go back and you look at the scene, if you have the Blu-ray or the DVD, you go back and you look at what I'm talking about, you see that her lips don't match up with what she says. And I always thought there was something wrong, and it wasn't until like 25, 30 years later that I found out what the problem was, and I was like, that's a good reason, I guess.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that's really amazing stuff, because I never knew anything about that. Joe.
Yeah. And wanted to update everybody. Wanted to update my subscribers on Jeremy. His surgery was a success. He's out of the hospital, so yeah, I'm just glad that I'm just glad he's on a good road to recovery. And also, I forgot to mention in the previous podcast, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The reason why I selected
sorry I missed that.
Well, the reason why the reason why I selected that for the episode is because and I knew Jeremy would want to join because that was one of his favorite horror films, and I figured before he goes under the knife, I wanted to give him one last appearance on this podcast where we go over one of his favorite movies. So yeah, I did that for him. So Jeremy, I did it for you, man.
That's awesome. That is definitely one of my favorites. One of my guilty pleasure movies. That not a lot of people like.
I love that movie. Christopher Titus. That was Christopher Titus's first movie, man. He was in it for like a nanosecond. Oh yeah, for like he was the blonde-haired dude with glasses. That's Chris Titus.
Wow, I never realized that.
I apologize for teaching people stuff.
Okay. And hey guys, I wanted to say one last thing about the creature from the crates about Fluffy. You know how in the part where the end where the crate with Fluffy inside of it has been dumped into the quarry, and then he escaped. Nobody knows where he ended up, where Fluffy ended up. But thing is, I know where he ended up. I recently came across Fluffy recently, and
right here.
Yep, I came across him recently, and made it. Well, give him some very specific instructions to pay a visit to anybody who has not yet subscribed to my channel or Nick's channel or Pink's Network channel. So yeah, so everybody who's watching, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Otherwise, Fluffy is on his way to your house, and he will do it.
Oh, he's hungry too.
Oh, you know what? You know what? We're gonna have to extend that because they're also gonna have to subscribe to Adam's channel and YouTube.com/This Is Tom's World.
Yeah.
No spaces, no punctuation. Just This Is Tom's World.
And our social media pages. So hurry up and subscribe and follow our pages, because otherwise Fluffy is coming straight to you, and he will do it. He listens to me now.
So Jeremy says his favorite Creepshow segment is either Weeds or the Rap with Old Chief Woodenhead, a close third. Well, believe it or not, Jeremy, I have the second one right here, and obviously the first one opens up to Old Chief Woodenhead.
Which that was a poorly. The story was good, but the effects, even with the Indian, were
Loco. The Poncho and Loco theme during the whole thing was kind of weird too. I'm like, who the hell gets that reference?
Yeah,
that's really. Watching that in whenever it was. So I was like, who gets that reference of Poncho and the Cisco Kid?
Tom, before I forget,
how many of y'all get that?
How do you? Venus flytraps.
They eat meat.
Yep, they eat meat. honestly, when I was watching that, I was expecting one of them to turn into Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, I love
Seymour.
Feed me all night long. That's right.
Seymour.
So
Oh, I grow big and strong.
So another thing about the replica I got, they have this was not featured in the movie at all. They have supposedly in next month's Creep issue, it says heads will roll in pinfall, plus get your claws into Cat from Hell and News Agents October 31st. Those lost 2 stories, and even more amazingly, if you look closer at the picture, I'm sorry that it's bright. Guess whose head he's rolling?
Oh, that's awesome.
George A. Romero.
Well, wasn't Cat from Hell in Tales from the Dark Side, or some kind of lead off of that, which starred? Oh God, his name is escaping me now.
Yeah, it was.
He's been a million things.
It was originally one of the other stories that was going to be featured in Creepshow too, because again they wanted to make 5 stories, but they had to cut it down to 3. But Cat from Hell was saved from extinction when it was on Tales from the Dark, when it was made for Tales of the Dark Side a couple years later. And
William Hickey. I'm sorry, that's the gentleman's name, William Hickey.
What's even funny on the bottom of this, it says, "Read it and weep, creeps. Don't miss Creepshow 3D." Like they're basically ignoring like completely that the third one and just trying to claim that they're, I guess supposedly they were trying to make a third Creepshow movie in 3D.
Now I know Nicotero had something to do with the second movie. Did he have anything to do with the first movie?
Aside from being probably Savini's underling,
his water boy.
No, at the time he was probably involved with K&B at that point. I mean, depending on how far along they were, he was probably still working at some degree for Savini. But K&B went to be their whole other thing that is huge as hell now. I mean, those guys have been around for decades.
So another thing I got to show you. They have the creepy correspondence in the second one, and everything you're about to hear from this is from the first movie. So like the notes, the fan notes that they get from here, I'm going to read an example. Dear Creep, I want to thank you for doing such a fantastic job with the comic. My dad hates it. He says if he catches me reading it, he will kill me. I bought the voodoo doll in the last issue. I'm now no longer the only pain in his neck. Billy Hopkins, center.
Oh, that's him. That's him.
Oh man,
that's really cool.
And the Creep's response: "What can I say, Billy? Other than might I suggest you also hide the Bengay, the Creep."
Oh, I get it.
And here's another good one. Dear Creep, where's my cake? Nathan Grantham, Fox Chapel, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
that's
that's with Aunt Bedelia.
Yeah, that's you know what? You almost had that right. He's like, the Creep said, "Have you tried asking your Aunt Bedelia?" And this one's for you, Don.
Okay.
Dear Creep, I would like to thank you for the mystery prize I received the other day. I'm still yet to open the crate, but I think it could be a kitten, as the name tag reads, Fluffy. Julia Carpenter, Horlicks University, and his response: "Congratulations! Why not put your hand in and try petting him? Don't worry, Fluffy won't bite."
No,
I promise.
Not much.
And you were just mentioning, Nathan from Father's Day. I just want to say, wow, like as far as that story, if that's Stephen King's idea of a horror Father's Day film, then I want to know what he could come up with as far as Mother's Day.
Yeah.
There's actually a horror movie called Mother's Day from Troma Entertainment. It was actually remade, but it was a Charles Kaufman production as a Troma team flick.
One mother ever.
What was that stupid movie called Ma? Or whatever that looked just absolutely stupid that came out a few years ago.
Oh, that was oh no, I know which one you're talking about, but
I don't know. But you're right. There's not a whole lot of Mother's Day
There is
themed movies out there. There's really not.
I mean, they've made a horror film for just about almost every holiday I can think of.
except for Thanksgiving. They really haven't made a.
They made Thanksgiving, sir, and
Yeah.
Thanksgiving 3. So yeah, they did.
What about Grandparents' Day? They didn't make one for that.
That's Texas Chainsaw Massacre because they feed Grandpa.
Or The Walking Dead.
Or The Walking Dead. Just because everybody involved is somebody's grandfather at this point.
Hey, Tom, here's something that this is the last creepy correspondence that they have in here. This one, the last one I have here is, Dear Creep, I think a meteor took a shit in my backyard. Jordan Barrow, Portland. And the creep in his response is, What? Are you some sort of lunkhead?
Nice.
You lunkhead.
You lunkhead.
Psycho, yeah.
Spell that kind of luck.
Meteor shit.
Always in, always bad.
Yep. His luck was finally in at the end when he was able. That was actually, I should admit, I want to point out that when he shoots himself in the head with a shotgun, that was probably the least graphic headshot I've ever seen in film.
Oh, for sure, and
But
especially for Savini.
What did he say
said,
right before he
Please, God, let my luck be in just this once. Please let my luck be in.
Yeah, that's exactly what's said in the comic version of it. It just says, "Please let my luck be in." But they also show you something that was not shown in the film. There's a little note here of what the Creepshow says, and he says, because it was right around the time when the story ended, they said how
for a good time, call Nick Muley at 555. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry.
No, what he says
1-800 Pickle Nick. Or no, 1-900. $1.99 for the first minute, $6.99 for each additional minute.
Oh my god!
So it says here in this little note that the creep makes. He says, "Hear that, kiddies? Rain tonight. I guess that old Vero luck is in again, eh?" So here's a closer picture of it. If you guys could see it.
You hear that, kiddies?
So it's like a deleted scene out of it.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I want to say this. The one thing that always bothered me so much about the ending of Lonely Death of Joy Verrill is like a whole situation with the plants. That one final shot, which shows, obviously the plants are expanding beyond Jordy's property at a crazy, insane rate. All that within like 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
And so within that time, at that rate, like the plants would pretty much take over America. I'm guessing within a month, and within a few months after that, the world. But
however, sometime in that first week would be around the time that This Is Tom's World would be doing an exploration video.
I mean, it definitely would accelerate the extraterrestrial planets from the rain. So it's just I don't even know if you really would call it a disaster waiting to happen. It would just almost terraform the entire planet with this alien type grass, basically.
Yeah, but one thing that bothered me about the ending, where it shows that sign in the last part. Hang on.
I got it right here. It's in the image right here, Don.
Yeah, that image. Here's what doesn't make sense about it. It says Castle Rock is 5 miles away, which leads me to believe this might take place in Colorado. But the thing it says that below that is Portland.
It's Maine. It's Maine. Castle Rock is Maine. Portland is Maine. Yeah.
And then there's finally Boston at the end of it.
Yeah, Boston. So it's New England, dude. That's where he lived.
Yep.
I was thinking it was pointed at Portland, Oregon. I was just like, that's nowhere near.
No, dude. Portland, Maine.
There's a number of states that have that town name.
Yeah, no. Castle Rock is Maine. Portland is, and you know what the other thing is I love the weather report going into that last shot where it's just showing the final scenes, and it's like, and a lot of rain expected, and it's like, it's the water it wants, Jordy. So that the surrounding areas and just everything around you is pretty screwed.
Yeah, just about. Then we're all going to be turned into living marijuana hybrids.
I'm halfway there already, dude.
Let's smoke myself, man.
Seriously, before you came on, we and Nick were making fun of that part where it showed Stephen King completely covered head to toe from the plants, and I said he looked like part man, part marijuana plant.
Yeah, he's homegrown nug. That's good stuff,
Right.
especially for Maine. Hell yeah.
He was definitely some solid bud. You know, I would take a long time to break up, though.
It definitely would.
Jesus.
Yeah, you got to
I
get the flower
don't
sifter
know
out
about
and
drugs or anything like that.
I don't
No,
know
me
either.
neither. No,
Nor do I.
I've
Nor would
never.
Nor do I want
I
to.
have never touched them. I don't even know what they are.
Me either.
Don't want to, never will. Let's see. You could tell. Wait. Okay, Jeremy says you could tell King had a lot of fun with this role. Oh, I believe it. You know, like.
Oh, if by fun you mean coke, then
He
yeah.
was also in Sons of Anarchy, actually.
Oh yeah.
He was on one episode of Sons of Anarchy for like
Stephen King.
10 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah, he was a cleanup guy. Like Tig and Gemma and Tara
You mean Peggy
had
Bundy.
killed Gemma's father's caretaker, and he was brought there to clean her up. Like he was like, all right, this is what I need. I need bleach. I need this. I need that.
Oh, spoilers, bro.
Any clogs in the
Jesus.
shit and all this.
It's only been a decade.
Yeah, I know, right?
I had no idea that he appeared on Sons of Anarchy.
Just once,
Wow.
but he was creepy looking in it.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
And the only thing he took as payment was like a little bit of money, and then they said you can have anything in the house you want. And he took this like little statue of like praying hands that were like gold colored.
And then he
Just
wrote a
grab that
story
and he-
about it,
Yeah, right.
and it was terrible.
Pet Cemetery too.
Oh, please! It was directed by the same. It was directed by the same director. How was two shittier than one? I'm sorry.
Well,
I know.
actually, the remake was the worst.
And it's like,
Yeah, John Lithgow was no Fred Gwynn. That was a different show. I apologize, Don. I'm sorry.
oh yeah. And I wanted to mention in Creepshow, like what are Tom and it was Adam. Yeah, Tom and Adam. What were your favorite?
Tom
Please
and
call me
0100100100000.
So yeah,
Call me hefty.
Okay, Tom, Adam. What are your favorite segments as far as Creepshow? Like, what's your favorite?
I do like the Adrian Barbeau, Hal Holbrook thing. That was definitely good. Well, the crate, obviously.
The crate, yeah.
But
That was a good one.
I didn't like the last. I think it was the last segment in the first one with the guy with
They're
the roaches.
creeping up on you, E.G. Marshall.
I was going to say, we never
Real quick,
talked about that.
Marshall had a prolific career in radio horror before that. If there's a YouTube channel called The Late Late Horror Show, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can plug them on here, but like they do these old 30s and 40s radio shows that were on, and it's absolutely amazing. And E.G. Marshall is a host of one of them, who is the racist old bastard in They're Creeping Up on You, and he's great. So it kind of shows how he would go from these episodic anthology stories on the radio to Creepshow, which is really cool.
Yeah,
But I definitely did like the Ted Danson thing. Like, you know what I mean? That whole
That was pre-Cheers. He wasn't even on Cheers yet when that happened.
no, he wasn't.
And just for the record, his girlfriend was Galen Ross from Dawn of the Dead. That's who the chick was.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yes, sir.
Because that when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me. Like when they came back and they're like,
Yeah. We can't die, Richard. We're already dead.
just the way their voices sounded. Like,
for you, Richard.
Yeah, that's right.
you just have to hold your breath.
and Leslie Nielsen doesn't even get his hair wet when he goes
No,
to the
he
shower.
doesn't.
I'm just saying. What a prima donna. What a prima donna.
Danson's hair still looked
right
good
here.
underwater.
It even demonstrates that his hair doesn't get wet at all, even when it's running up to his head, and he's yelling out, "Can hold my breath a long time."
Long time.
As far as segments go, the first time I ever saw Creepshow this is a story I wanted to tell when I first was like, oh man, I really want to come on the show. Was the first time I saw this, it was on, I live in New York. And the first time I saw it was on WPIX back in probably 1990. And it was a made for TV version. So it omitted they're creeping up on you story. Now because it fit for time and content. So when I also owned the Tom Savini Fangoria thing that I had on beta, it was like Screen Greats Tom Savini, and it had this whole segment on they're creeping up on you, and I was like, what is this? I've never even seen this. This is part of a movie that I've seen many times before, and it wasn't until I rented it that I saw that it was an extra story on there, which I honestly didn't really care for, but it was pretty cool because it was like one of those things where I had no idea it was actually in the movie. But my favorite one has probably got to be Father's Day, just because I love Ed Harris's stupid dancing.
Yes, Ed Harris.
And there was I loved seeing what's his name that played Martin.
That was
Nathan Grantham.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but he was.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
He was so perfect. He also played the doctor with the mustache and the goatee in Day of the Dead. John Amplis. Yeah, he played Martin, and he played Nathan Grantham, the zombie version, and was also in Romero's Martin. But I think that's the one that really scared the heck out of me, man. And I was just like, oh, all right.
Really?
Yeah. John Amplis was the lead in Martin. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. I have that movie. That's like one of like, it's obviously a classic, but it's like one of also kind of like George A. Romero's like kind of not necessarily.
Yeah, it's like there's always Vanilla and Season of the Witch or whatever. There's always everybody knows about that one.
Ed Harris was in that too. I forgot.
Yeah, yep. And Night Riders. Ed Harris was also in Night Riders with Tom Savini and Tasos Stavrakis, and the whole Savini crew.
Ed Harris is a legend. I remember him in Apollo 13. Let's see, Radio. He's done a lot of great work.
I have Jeremy. I have a Yeti mic, and my voice is actually really terrible right now. I'm fighting with every breath. If you've heard my narrations, Nick, that I usually have a better voice.
Yeah.
But for about a month, my voice has been really bad off. So I'm pushing to get through this. So thank you for being with me. But I appreciate the compliment, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Hopefully
and I'm loving the Pinhead / Jason mask.
This was actually a birthday present about 2 years ago from my buddy they got off of Etsy. They know Friday the 13th is. I have an oil painting right here with Jason Voorhees with my Part 4 mask and my severed head right here on it, which you can see on my own channel. But it's a very expensive painting.
I was wondering
it's like Pinhead Voorhees.
Yeah, but that's my favorite franchise. Not necessarily my favorite horror movies, but my favorite franchise. So my friends got me this a couple of years ago for my birthday, and I thought I'd just try to give this as much love as possible because I love.
I got
one of my favorites.
Top two franchises are Nightmare on Elm Street again, besides the second one, because
Dom, I like Nick has been telling me about you. Nick has spoken very highly of you for a long time, Don, and I've been really excited to be on this show. So thank you, everybody. Like Tom, it's cool to meet you. Nick, I know you
did too.
Yeah. It's
good don't even get me started. Hold on. You guys want to see some cool shit? Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know what he's probably going to show with some of the stuff.
Is he going to break out a fucking ash? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to use the F word. An ash like a chainsaw arm, and
I think we got one other person who's interested in joining the show too, Don.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I sent.
Oh, he's got the Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, actually,
Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
So cool. Oh my god!
Wait, you're missing pages. You got to go down in the basement to get them.
That is just freaking awesome.
That's so cool.
So it's
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2, 25th
Now, see,
anniversary
I actually want to go.
movie edition.
I actually want to go to where the original Evil Dead movie was filmed because the chimney is still there.
Yeah, I was going
From
to say
that
the
cabin.
was demolished,
Yeah.
but the chimney's
Now,
still
the Evil Dead 2 location, everything's gone. But the
Oh.
Evil Dead original, that's still there, the chimney and everything. And you can get on the property if you contact the owners of the property. Otherwise, you risk getting shot.
Yeah, because Nick, the reason why the only chimney is the only thing left, it wasn't demolished purposely. Apparently, I looked into
It
it.
was burned down, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, apparently some.
I think it was burned down actually.
Yeah, apparently some squatters were like staying there. They were lighting candles all over the place, not using the fireplace for some reason. And the candles like started that fire, and the whole thing burned down.
Now from Evil Dead 2, they salvaged as much as they could. There's like a couple guys that got together and they have recreated like not only the tool shed but the cabin, and they go traveling with this thing and they go to different shows. I've actually seen videos of it. They don't have the complete cabin because like people have stolen stuff over time from Evil Dead 2. But the shed, they pretty much have almost the whole thing.
Oh,
and they showcase it everywhere they go. Like they transport it, and they have every piece marked so they know where every piece goes and everything like that. The only thing they're missing from Evil Dead 2 is on the inside of the shed, above the door, was a Freddy glove.
Oh,
yeah.
They stole it from the set.
Well, and that's also, if you look at in the original Evil Dead where they had kind of like the Jaws poster ripped, or I'm sorry, Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes,
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes. They had the Jaws poster ripped, which was kind of intended to be like this movie is more intense than Jaws, and they kind of like threw that back in the Evil Dead too.
In Evil Dead 2, they were filming Nightmare on Elm Street at the same time at the same lot.
Yep. Oh no, it was
So
they
actually
the glove.
stole.
Oh yeah.
They actually stole the real Freddy glove and had it hanging from the top of the door. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man,
that is unbelievable. That
I've
really
looked into
is.
all this stuff, man.
I've loved Evil Dead since I was 10 years old. Yeah, 10 was when I first saw it. Because long story short, my oldest sister Kristen was having a sleepover. She was about 15 at the time. So she just rented Evil Dead, just being like just out of random. She didn't really know that much about horror. She just wanted something for her friends. A scary movie for the night. So after that, before it was going to be returned back to Blockbuster, and back when that was a thing, I snuck it and watched the whole thing. And I'm just like, wow, this movie's amazing.
It was.
Smart.
Especially when you start to think about the low budget that they had.
Oh yeah.
When they made the first one, it was actually a phenomenal movie. And then the second one, they actually started adding humor a little bit. And then by Army of Darkness, it was like all humor. And then Ash versus Evil Dead, forget it.
Army of Darkness.
Yep, that's what I said. You
said
had
Ash
the
versus
second.
Evil Dead.
No. I said Army of Darkness between the two. I said you had the first one, and then you had the second one, which they added a little humor, and then there was Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it was full horror comedy.
Right.
And my sister Kristen, she didn't really she's not a big fan of horror, but I just said, hey, if it wasn't for that movie Evil Dead that boosted Tom Savini's career, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here, put it up a little bit more.
Oh God.
Spider-Man.
Oh boy.
The same man made those.
Well, let's not.
I know.
Let's not forget one of those movies. Even Bruce Campbell made an appearance in it.
All three.
Yeah,
all three.
And the car is in them all too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's the car that Uncle Ben was driving.
Yeah, Tom Savini sticks in Evil Dead references in his movies. Even in Spider-Man.
Yep.
And what about Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell, where they actually have the Necronomicon that they borrowed.
You pan over.
They borrowed from the Evil Dead 3, the Army of Darkness set, and legit just kind of threw that in there because why not?
Yeah.
Well, there's a theory. There's a theory that Jason Voorhees is actually a Deadite.
Wow.
There's a whole stream of videos and stuff on that he's actually a Deadite. He's not, he's not the the kid anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
He's a dead-eyed.
yeah,
Jeez.
I'm telling you.
It's crazy.
Jeez. Well, and if you think about it, well, did you guys know that when they like that final scene out of that movie, like when the guy and Jason are fighting out in the park area, that park that they shot it at was the same park that just 30 years earlier, 1963, was where the birds was shot when they started flying off towards the kids.
Yes, and actually the swing set or the jungle gym that is used in
Yep.
Jason Goes to is the same
It's the same
one that they
30
used
years
in the
later.
birds. Yeah, yep.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, no, I didn't know that. Holy crap!
And I've been seeing things lately popping up online where they're talking about, and I know we're getting so far away from Creepshow.
Yeah.
But like
Sorry,
I've been seeing things lately that there's some kind of talk about like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers
Yeah, I heard that the other day, actually.
movie.
Yeah. They've been trying to come up with ideas.
They're
for
crossing the streams, man.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm pretty sure some people have been trying to get that off the ground for years, but to no end.
Probably for like
Well,
the
there
last
was
years.
originally supposed to be, I think it was I don't think Michael Myers was in it. I think it was Jason.
No, I think it was.
I think it was Jason, Freddy, and Ash.
Pinhead.
Oh yeah.
We're supposed to have a movie like Jason versus Freddy versus Ash kind
Oh
of
my
movie,
God.
and they wrote the script for it, but they just never made it. And
No,
that was
Don,
long before
Jake.
Jason versus Freddy.
if I may, Don, let me ask you a question. Yeah,
Yep.
you're younger. I'm 43 years old, so you're
Actually,
probably a
Christ,
little
well,
bit
then I'm
younger
the
than
oldest one
yourself.
here.
actually, he's
I'm
a
30.
year older than I am. So
I'm
I'm the youngest.
47.
All right. So Tom's Methuselah, and I'm right under him.
That's right. I am God.
But
I created the world.
whoa.
All
Hold
right,
on.
I'm not God. I'm Jesus.
Jeez. What was, and forgive me if I missed this, what was your first introduction to Creepshow? Because I didn't catch your show from the beginning, so I do apologize. So if you answered this already, I'm sorry, but
What you mean the way I was introduced to Creepshow?
yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I was got into Creepshow like in my, I think I was about 16 at the time. Yeah, I saw it at a friend's house,
Out a while.
and yeah, I saw it at a friend's house, and I immediately liked it. So I watched the second one on like Comcast on demand around 4th of July. And,
Okay.
yeah, so that. I mean, I was into horror anthology before that, watching all the Tales from the Crypt during my early teen years. But then, I watched Creepshow, and I'm like, yeah. So I watched Creepshow, and I'm just like, how did I not watch this sooner?
Now, have you seen the Vault of Horror as well? That was in the same people that did Tales from the Crypt, the British one, Peter Cushing and stuff.
I don't think so. Not
It's
yet.
on YouTube, bro. Like,
I'll look. I'll look into it
like I'll send Nick links. I don't have your information.
for sure. Oh no, Nick. Going back, Nick. I just wanted to go back into Creepshow because I wanted to mention this the final story of that, the one that I know.
we haven't really spoken about that one.
The one that I know would freak you out.
Yes.
On you, because guess what? What's in it?
Cockroaches.
Yes, and also and not
That's what I was talking
cockroaches,
about.
and not
My
digital
niece.
cockroach, and yeah, not
Real
digital,
cockroaches.
real cockroaches, because this
Who
was
the
the
hell was
80s.
that?
They didn't have the effects to create anything, to use anything but the real thing. So
You guys ever heard of how they got it?
Trinidadian. Oh yeah, Trinidadian cockroaches too. Did you hear about the after effects as
Oh,
well?
my
Oh,
God,
that was
that's
E.G.
what
Marshall was his name.
E.G.
Yeah.
Marshall, where he played
E.G. Marshall. Yeah. So
he played Upson Pratt in that.
yeah, it's Upson Pratt.
Who is arguably
What's the matter, Mr. Pratt?
he's got your tongue.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pratt.
But that
Yes.
character was based on what's his name that used to like fly around in the airplanes and.
Oh, he was the guy that was on Fallout New Vegas. The guy, he was a very famous recluse.
Yeah, he was like germaphobe and.
Yeah.
and all that, and-
I can't think of the gentleman's name, but yeah, I know whom you were speaking. Yes.
Yeah, Upson Pratt is arguably the most unlikable character of the whole film, and
He
for
is.
many good reasons. And on top of that, he's like one of the basic character traits about him is that he's a huge. He has two huge phobias of bugs and also germs. He's like wearing gloves.
Germophobic.
He's like has all these different. I see everything he's doing. I'm just thinking, Jesus, this guy takes more like bigger precautions than Howie Mandel.
I also think it works into his racism and his xenophobe.
Yeah.
His contempt for humanity, and is just like he treats.
Everything like he's low, like they're beneath.
They're low. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he feels like he's above everybody.
And one of the lowest.
The bugs are more representative of the people he sees beneath him than what they actually represent.
I always did like that metaphor.
Yes.
And also the fact I'm just thinking when I look back to that, I'm just thinking the fact that he never leaves his apartment, completely a recluse, and just because of germs and being exposed to all sorts of things. And it's probably for the better, because considering the way he treats people and the hate that he's been earning, I'm very certain that the second if he ever stepped out of his apartment, he'd be stabbed in the back or gunned down by an assassin.
Probably would.
Probably.
He probably pissed off the wrong person, and they hired a hitman to get him.
Well, the other thing
very
too
likely.
is that it's really that kind of situation where he kind of views everyone as below him, and it's like he sees society almost like the roaches they are, but it's it's almost kind of payback, if you will, with actual roaches. Look at us like roaches, while real roaches are coming after you.
Yeah. So when Upston Pratt talks about he's getting the voicemails on his answering machine,
The answer machine of some
and
sort.
it's the wife of somebody who had offed because of some shady ish that was going down with him. And he's I'm trying to be. I don't know what the. I'm trying to be very good here tonight.
I think that went out the window with me when they brought me on that.
Well, ask Nick. I'm doing very well for me. I'm doing very well with keeping clean. But when because you hear E.G. Marshall speaking of this gentleman before he gets the message. And you can tell that he just does not care. And then when she calls and she's like, he was my husband, and blah, 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 I hope you get cancer in the worst area and all this. And this dude it's like, yeah, dude, that's exactly how you viewed the guy. You didn't want him to go on vacation. You were going to make him work and stuff like that. That's how he views people.
Yeah.
He has no respect, in other words.
Yeah, he's like I said, the most unlikable character of the entire film, and that's what I like about Creepshow. And they always give the villains and also the unlikable characters a comeuppance, and in the form of roaches. And seriously, I know Nick, you have an issue with roaches, but also so do I, because you know how, and I always tell people this, how when they throw up, when some people throw out furniture in an alleyway and someone else takes it in, I don't trust that. I buy my own furniture.
You don't trust that.
Because seriously, I seriously
you don't trust sidewalk furniture, bro.
Yeah, no. I seriously get paranoid if I bring one of those into my condo and then I sit on it and then a bunch of roaches or a big ugly rat starts crawling out of there.
Was it Howard Hughes?
Howard Hughes. Yeah. Yes. That's
I had to look it up a little bit.
What?
I got to make this joke, but I'm surprised, Don, that you wouldn't want to, especially if it's a nice couch, because if you remember that Star Wars parody episode of Family Guy, Peter really wanted that couch.
Oh, they were moving. It's like,
I'm taking this couch. Easy.
Oh, man.
We're making this more complicated than it is.
I had to bring that up because you were talking
go ahead
about
and take off.
That thing just ran through my head.
I'll just hold on to it.
Tell me I don't have to leave this room. You don't have to leave this room. Thank you.
Holy crap.
Well, did you guys know exactly how they even got the roaches for that movie? Did you guys ever hear how that works?
I didn't look into
There
it.
were real roaches at the end that were coming out of the dummy head.
Well, how they attained them was, they said, and Tom Savini explained this in an interview, was that they would actually go into caves, and the roaches lived, in bat shit, them. And they would basically dig a hole in the bat shit and turn the lights off and wait a minute or two, and the whole thing would just be filled with roaches, and they would put them out. They would have 5,000 cockroaches at one time, and then all of a sudden, didn't see a thing. They were in the phones. They were in the computers. They were walking around almost like as if they were in water, but it wasn't water. It was roaches.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And George Romero said in an interview, in the same documentary that he was in, he said that after they were done, he just couldn't pick up any of those roaches. He just couldn't. It was just like, and then he realized he was becoming squeamish, very much like Mr. Pratt in a way, E.G. Marshall's character.
It's like the roaches coming out of his mouth were like equivalent to, and what was it? The Tales from the Dark Side movie, where like the old guy that was in Christmas Vacation.
William Pickey, and the cat comes out of his mouth or his throat or whatever at the end. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
It was disturbing, and with that scene of Creepshow, it's like when people see the bugs coming out of his mouth, people will just go like, that's it.
Oh my god! And I gotta say this, like Upson Pratt, he has like probably the blandest looking apartment ever.
Oh yeah, it's so
white.
So but I think that kind of adds to the germophobic, just very sterilized environment that he lives in, and
everything's white, so he could keep it clean.
Yeah,
like he could see any blemish and he could clean it.
When I saw that, I actually first saw it. I didn't even think it was an apartment room. I actually thought it was like a hospital or a mental room because it just had that hospital-like appearance to it, but at the same time, you look at it very carefully. It also kind of has like a very futuristic tone to it as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like he has like all this computer technology that looks futuristic, at least by 80s standards.
Futuristic.
Yeah.
It's got the green and black screen and the dot matrix printer.
Yeah, except now we have computers, which are also phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the future right here.
Oh boy.
Well, really, what we have here, these computers right here are more powerful than the ones that they used to send the men to the moon the first time.
Yeah.
That is true.
And this watch turns on my TV. I bet the 80s guys didn't predict that.
No. Well, there was Dick Tracy.
Well,
where he was.
Yeah. I mean, sure, Dick Tracy did have a watch that would.
And Inspector Gadget.
Wowzers.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did have.
Hello,
watches
Chief. You're where?
Hello, Chief. Where's Brain?
Okay, I mean, they did have watches that would have all these functions, but I don't think they had something for turning on TV on the watch. But so Apple really caught us by surprise with that. And you just had to mention Inspector Gadget because I just cannot think about that show without thinking about Dr. Claw. Yeah, where it's like.
I want you next time. What, Tom? Why are we not in a death metal band together? Bro?
I don't know.
Yeah, really.
Me either.
And then the little cat.
I did not like the live action version in '99.
No. Hey, now you're an all-star. Like
either.
Well, I worked at a movie theater when that came out, and every time I went in to clean that theater, I was like, I'm gonna come back when the credits roll.
Yeah, and I
don't want to see this.
And the second live action one was also dumb because then they tried to hide Dr. Claw's face after we clearly saw it in the first movie. So that was pointless.
Yeah,
that was dumb. Anyway, so Creepshow, and thinking back to Creepshow 2,
we're bringing it back to Creepshow now.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about Creepshow 2, they added a whole new story in animated formats, but where Billy's being chased by bullies and
that's what I mean. It has that's like the Disney kind of. It has like a Disney feel to it.
Well, actually,
particular storyline.
The animations were very similar to Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal?
Yeah,
the movie Heavy Metal.
Yeah, okay.
Julie's Brain.
Where they actually filmed it and then animated over top of it.
Yes, rotoscoping, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was very similar to that. But it was okay. It was okay. But it didn't have the same feel as the comic book snapshots and everything like they had in the first one, where it made it feel more like a comic book.
Right.
And then they had the live people acting, whereas there they had just the animations.
Yeah. And one of the names that stood out for me in that film, it was in The Hitchhiker, Lois Chiles, who
Lois Childs, yes.
Yeah. I haven't.
Cost you, Miss Lansing.
I can't pronounce her name. Yeah, Miss Lansing. Yeah, that'll cost you, Miss Lansing. And also, the only other film that I know her from is when she played Holly Goodhead in Moonraker, the 11th James Bond film, and she was like the 29th girl that Bond has a relationship with. Yes, I counted.
There was somebody else they had considered for that role, but couldn't do it at the last minute, and I can't.
I think it was my mom.
It might have been.
It might have been. I don't know.
But
I'm just gonna say this, talk about the Hitchhiker story.
Yeah, but I just want to say this though. Like I look at the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die, and I look at that. Look back at the previous Bond films. I'm thinking of all the Bond girls that have been in the feature, that he's been with. I'm like 58 women. Jesus Christ! What? It's like
I'm shaken, not stirred.
Not stirred.
Miss Moneypenny.
I gotta bring this up because he mentioned about that movie, No Time to Die. Because I never look at this title the same way again. But SNL actually did a skit on it, like they did that news segment or something, and they said, "Well, I don't want to try to be offensive or anything, but they were saying about how this was still the early stages when COVID was really hitting and stuff like that." And they said, "Well, if circumstances continue, we may have to rename this movie." And they took the no outs and they called it Time to Die.
Oh my god! Wow.
I think Adam's laughing too.
Good God!
You gotta love SNL sometimes.
Oh boy.
And
that was back when we used to joke about. Now we don't joke about it anymore.
I will say this about the Hitchhiker though. Like they know how obviously all kinds of stunts are being done, dangerous stunts, and they say in the film, like at the credits, nobody was harmed with the making of this film. But I will say this: the biggest, there actually was one big victim as far as during this production. You know what that is? The Mercedes that she was driving.
Oh boy, howdy!
I hate seeing a nice luxury car just being smashed up like that. That's
exactly.
The Mercedes. Yeah, the Mercedes is the real victim.
Well, dude was just trying to get to Dover, man.
Don, if you, I don't know if you are familiar with the director's commentary for the 1990 Night of the Living Dead movie, but Tom Savini was saying that after the screening of that movie, because it had forgive me, I can't remember the make or model of the car that hit the tree when Barbara was going backwards. It showed that it was such structurally sound that they bankrolled apart in that movie because it showcased how sturdy the whatever car was that hit that it's even taking a collision, this car can be like this.
Yeah, I think
that's right. You can hit hitchhikers with it and be all right.
No. I'm talking about Night of the Living Dead, 1990.
I remember that car. I'm trying to think of the model. I don't think it was a Mercedes.
It was a Beamer. I don't remember, but anyway,
that's with a lot of the cars. But I think I know which one you're talking about, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't remember what make that car was.
The same.
Just remember this because the Creepshow showed us with these cars. As the creep said, here's a oh wait, damn it, that's not showing. But here's
here's Nick's background. Wait,
here's a lesson for you, kiddies.
See, this is what happens when you do a green screen background without a green screen.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, what I was gonna say was, as the creep had said, all this talk about cars and hitchhikes. There's a lessons for you, kiddies. Never pick up hitchhikers on the hood of your car.
It says Dover. He was just
it says Dover on it too.
That story's pretty much like I Know What You Did Last Summer, only he doesn't wait a whole year to get his revenge.
Yeah, not even. And King was the truck driver in that.
Yep, Stephen King was the truck driver. You're right.
Guys, one last thing that I have, in addition to the replicas. Hang on, let me turn off the green screen because I don't want to keep looking like I'm holding something invisible in my hand. I also, of course, have the actual comic book.
That's what I have. That one too? Yeah. Yep.
The difference about this comic book compared to the movie is what the
Nick.
Jeremy's watching. I know what you did last summer right now. That is awesome.
Yeah, I know what you did last summer was decent. Second one was all right. Third one was garbage.
Oh God, the third one was terrible.
Yeah, we're definitely going to cover that trilogy somewhere down the road.
I was gonna say, you know what? We did start the show, Don, during the summer, so that could be a good one. Saying how we really knew what we did last summer. But no, what I was gonna say about the comic book itself is that there are some changes compared to obvious and Adam, since you got one yourself, compared to the movie itself. Is that one thing that's different is the crate is the third story, and something that tied you over is the fourth story.
Yeah, which is weird because, having seen the movie for so long, you're used to the kind of, it's set in this order, and you expect, one to lead into the other, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they really did a great job.
I was going to say the artwork is phenomenal. I mean,
the artwork is great, and it really does resemble how the actors look in the film. So they really took their time finding the right actors that would resemble those in the comic books. And there's also a different change too, Don. If you didn't know, like for example, the crate story, you mentioned about how in the end of that story, the creature manages to escape its crate. In the comic book, however, it does end the same way, but the creature is kept locked in the crate, really with its status unknown. You really don't know if it drowned or if it's just literally contained within the crate, shielding it from drowning.
And put out that little moan as he dropped it off
very much like it. And also the other difference, they changed a little bit of the creature's appearance compared to the film. In the comic book version, the creature actually is more wolf-like, while Fluffy is more ape-like in the film. What's up, Brad? Good to see you.
My question is the same as Jeremy's.
Wouldn't they have drawn the comics based on the looks of the actors? I'm not sure. This came out first because if you look carefully, it does say on the corner here, now a very scary movie. So I would have expected this would have been written first. So, but that's a good question, though. Definitely, Jeremy.
I mean, maybe they updated the comics and put them back out again after the movie.
What was that?
Like maybe they updated the comics and then put them out again after the movie. Like even the one that you showed with like Leslie Nielsen, it looked like Leslie Nielsen.
It did. It really does. I mean, just about everybody resembles like what you see in the film. And believe it or not, I mean, despite obviously being a comic book, this isn't a book for kids. Actually, it's pretty graphic, and they have some of the strong language like they do in the film.
Wait, in the comic book for Creepshow 2, did they show the chick's nipples on the raft?
They show poop, and he goes down and he licks them too, and then
you don't have to show it on your feed.
So the weird thing about these the replicas, especially the second one, I'll pull this one out. I wish they could have done a little bit more, because if you guys remember, like the opening sequence, like they showed like the images of the comic itself.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off with
the pages
let's start off with
for
example, the story of the raft. Like it shows this image, and then it shows a few of the images, screenshots from the movie, and then when you fast forward it to the next page.
When you fast forward it, you mean when you flip the page?
Yeah, well,
there's the nipples right
really
there.
Sorry, I thought that was horrible. I thought that was great.
It just literally jumps to a few images of the story, and then it ends right there. When in the opening scene,
I beat you.
More images.
I beat you. Yeah.
It showed a lot more images in the comic opening sequence, and a lot of those images aren't there. So I wish they could have added a couple more images, but whoever had owned it, made them, he'd probably done all he could to make a replica out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
So they didn't show the nipples in the comics.
No, they didn't.
No, Tom, no nips. No
God
nips.
damn.
But yeah, I'm sorry. What do you want?
I just had to convert the binary to see you right. Oh wait, see what you wrote.
Oh.
Okay.
Adam.
Is it though?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just trusting that it is.
That just makes me think of that bit from Family Guy where they try to make the story of like Helen Keller, like they're all their dialogue is binary code. You remember that, Nick? You remember
I
that?
don't remember that. No, I love Family Guy. That's great.
That was from like an early season. That was from way back.
Oh no, it should say hefty if you translate that. It
Bump,
should say
bump,
hefty.
no bump, 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 no
it would
bump,
be nice
bump,
to transfer
bump,
my
bump.
conscience to another body.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's really funny. So let's see what I'm just going back to some. If I missed any of the other comments, I don't know where. Oh my God, Brad!
Oh.
I don't even know what that says.
Yes,
actually, Brad is telling me, Nick, don't translate that.
hold on. Hold on. Let me see what we got going on here.
What did you say, Brad?
It must be something bad.
It says Pickle Nick.
What?
I said it says Pickle Nick. No, there's not enough letters there. It's still. Wait, is there?
Yeah. It also makes me think of that one part from Futurama where Bender is staying at like his dead relative's house overnight, and then it shows in the mirror like
0112000. Oh my God!
My shiny metal ass.
Burn my shiny metal ass.
Oh my God, Adam! I gotta say right now, you actually kind of sound like Bender there.
It was if my voice wasn't so messed up, I do a very awesome Bender impression.
Oh my
You'd be
God, you
awesome
sounded
for
just like
replacement
Bender
for
right
that.
there. I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
God.
When you tell him not,
Young lady, please
Oh my God!
leave the sandwich and use the maggots.
Good news, everyone.
Good news,
That means
nobody.
someone, wait, hang on. When you tell Nick not to translate that means someone has to translate.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, pretty
here,
much.
wait. Let me copy and paste it and see if anything comes.
That's
up
what
in
I'm
Google.
doing. I got hold on, copy. I got the thing pulled up. Let's see what we got here.
Good idea.
Binary paste to text.
Oh,
Convert.
God, what is it?
Binary.
It
text.
says cockroaches.
No.
Figures.
There you go.
I was
It
hoping it
does.
was going to be more about something about Gorilla Glue.
Yep. Bugs got your tongue, Nick?
I said for Nick not to translate. I never said no one else couldn't.
That's why I took it upon myself.
Actually,
I
he
think
didn't
it
say
says cockroaches.
Yeah, it's a bad word.
Young.
Are you trying to talk like doctors?
Yeah, screw off, meatbag.
Hey, no one told me to do that.
Good news, no one.
Good news, everyone.
That was actually my text tone for the longest time. Actually,
Good news, everyone.
seriously, whenever I had like, whenever I had it, new forms of torture.
It should have been
seriously,
a
I
Rick
actually
quote.
had my text. And I think Don, you remember, it would actually go off. Good news, everyone.
Like, hey, look, Morty. I'm just saying.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh my God.
Morty. Shut up, stupid.
Hey, Morty.
You know what's my way? Hey, Jeremy, you know what's my way of screwing with scammers? Is like just have like a call center audio like playing in the background while when I answer the phone, I just say 911. This call's being recorded. What is your emergency?
Or pretend to be a reporter. We're live on the air with a current scammer, and
yeah. So yeah, if they call me, I just make them think they accidentally called. They somehow got a hold of emergency services, and then they usually.
That's great. That's great.
Yep. I just tell them. I just tell them, okay, sir, you are aware that prank calling 911 is a criminal offense, right? just keep going with that, and then they just hang up. Usually.
All right, gentlemen, I have to work early. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate you guys.
I gotta be up
very
in
much.
6
Adam,
hours.
it was definitely awesome to have you on. I've we've spoken the last couple of weeks, and also, in case you didn't know, actually, maybe you already do know. I'm already working on yet another audiobook series, which this one I have right here, which is At the Cemetery Gates Year 1. This one I intend to record just independently, but we've already set our sights on Nightmare Soup 3. So we're gonna definitely, it's coming out by the end of this month. So
I did one of those
Nightmare
stories.
Soup 3 looks. What, Tom?
I said I did one of the stories for your books.
I did a story too. I didn't know.
Oh my goodness! And just as you were just about to get off, guy, Adam, really quickly, guys, you guys have seen her in the comments before, but now I actually invited her to come on. Meet Jill Jade.
Wow.
She's able to come on.
Hi.
What's up, Jill? Can you hear us?
Hello, Jill.
Hi.
What's up?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Hello.
I thought I was in the back room this whole time, and I was waiting for like 20 minutes, and somehow I wasn't connected or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was starting.
I don't know why he's.
I was starting to get a little worried. I'm thinking, Jill hasn't been on yet, so that's when I decided to reach out. I'm like, you coming on soon?
Yeah.
And now
I've been waiting.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I reached out to you.
Yep. It's good to have you on here, Jill.
Thank you.
But is Adam frozen? It looks like he's frozen right now.
No, not at all. Happy Halloween. No. No, I just look like I'm dead, not actually, because we can't get what we want, right? But
nope, Brad, we're not going on for 8 hours.
No. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for having me on.
We just lost Jill.
I think I pissed her off. Oh man.
No,
that's my luck with women, bro. That's my luck with women. All right, you know what? I'm out of here. Thank you so much, Don. Pleasure, man. I
think it was me.
Man, super cool to meet you, bro. Nick, I'll see you next week, buddy.
Oh, yeah. It was so great to meet you, Adam. I really enjoyed having you on here. We're definitely going to have
so we love meeting you. 01001001100.
Please just call me Zero.
All right.
But anyway, sub to these guys' channels. Information down below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and everything. All that good stuff these guys ask you to do.
All right.
See you guys later.
Yeah, take care.
We'll have you back on soon, Adam. Great chatting with you.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome. When I told you I would come on, I said I can't be on for very long. I've been on for a while now. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Jill,
you be up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yep. Jill, good to see you back on.
But I'm happy I waited because I get to see Jill.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jill,
who's like reacting really late to our comments.
Jill, yeah, tonight we've been talking about Creepshow. So now that you're on,
right. That was about Creepshow, wasn't
it? Brad said that he got a good screenshot of you, Jill.
No.
Let's see if Jill can last longer than 30 seconds this time, that Jeremy said.
We'll see.
Oh my God.
Wow, this is starting to sound sexual. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Leave it to me to take it there.
That's not what she said.
Well, hey, you don't know what she said. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
She said a lot.
I was about to say my face is probably turning red right now.
You know what? Don't feel bad.
Don's like, so anyway, Creepshow.
Torturing Jill.
Don's like, so anyway,
not as much, isn't it?
Yeah. So okay, Jill, you've seen Creepshow, right?
Of course.
Yes, obviously, yes. So what's your favorite segment from it? I'm always trying to figure out everybody's favorite.
Well, the ones that you guys were talking about, quoting and stuff, but I probably the one that Jeremy mentioned,
Ooh,
with the chief.
I lost my earbud.
With the chief.
which
Oh, that
one?
was from the second film.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah, old Chief Woodenhead.
Chief Woodenhead. Yes, I remember that one.
Piss poor animation, but it was a good story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I could say, like, everybody, I always tell people, say what you want about Creepshow 2, but it's an upgrade compared to Creepshow 3. That one, avoid at all costs.
Oh,
I've never even known about that until tonight.
yeah, don't watch. I mean, you know
it's
about
better-
it, but don't watch it.
It's
You're
better left
wasting your time.
Yeah, it's better left unknown.
I'll leave
It's,
it at
I
that.
don't remember if I saw 3, which is weird because I always see like all the parts, no matter how bad they are.
Yeah,
You know, like on
came out,
anything.
like
Just
15 years ago in 2006 or 7, it came out.
2006.
Okay.
It had a very
2006, yeah.
limited release, and it was for good reason.
By that point, I
Thank
was
goodness.
a father for 11 years.
Oh, but
2006.
Yeah.
it sounds like an adult star name.
Well, I'm 47 years old, you know?
we know
My
it's your
son is
favorite time, just like
25.
Jaws. No, do not mention Jaws
Aw.
3. Do not mention Jaws: The Revenge. No,
No.
do not mention Jaws: The Revenge in my presence.
Oh, he's saying Jaws 3.
Either one.
No, it's no.
No.
Jeremy.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you this, Jill. Nick and I, like some time ago, a few years back, we reviewed Jaws: The Revenge for my channel, and that review was meant to be my final goodbye to that film. Okay, so that being said, that film, I hate that movie, and I'm done with it.
It's like a funeral.
It's like a funeral.
Yep. Rest in pieces.
Did you guys have like a
Tornado.
burning?
Wait, what?
Did you burn the film? Did you have a burning
No.
burning?
I never owned I have
It's
never
the Burning Jaws Festival.
No. I have never owned a copy of Jaws: The Revenge. If I saw a copy, if I had a copy left at my doorstep, I would have taken my friggin' hammer to the thing.
No, get a mini sledge at least.
You don't burn classics, Jeremy says, Don.
3 is not a classic.
Yeah,
It's
couldn't
not-
agree more, which is why I only burned Jaws: The Revenge and not the original Jaws. Yeah.
I mean, some people consider Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a classic,
Yeah, I mean, I got
but it's not. It's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
It's
I mean, no. You know what was even worse than that? I believe the worse than that one that is not New Nightmare. Freddy's Dead File Nightmare. That one was
that bad because I never saw that one.
the one with where his daughter was in it and all that.
Don't spoil it for Nick. He hasn't seen it.
Wow.
But,
Spoiler alert.
That wasn't bad. The worst one was the newest reincarnation of Nightmare on Elm Street. What's his
remake?
name?
Yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Oh my god, that was I've not made it through that. Every time I've turned it on to watch it, within like 15 to 20 minutes, I'm asleep.
I
It's like-
saw that in the theater when that came
It
out. I regret it.
sucked.
I was
Yeah,
still in
but,
high
I
school
mean,
at that time when that came out.
It's like, sure, they actually made Freddy look like an actual burn victim, like with the improved makeup, but that's really all the character had going for it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Robert Englund is Freddy.
Yes, he is.
Period.
And,
Yes,
like,
he is.
yeah.
So
it's
if
just-
you're gonna make a new one and it's not gonna be Robert Englund, use his face to make a mold.
Right.
yeah,
You know, like they have silicone masks that you can buy yourself and put it on and make yourself look like Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger. So if they can do that for average Joe in Hollywood, it shouldn't be a problem.
yeah, I could see that. I mean, yeah, Robert Englund, he doesn't want to play Freddy anymore because he feels like
No.
he's just too old for the role, you know. But which is
Well,
That's a tough part. He always says he retires from like dressing up, but he's been doing that for like the last 10 years and he's still dressing up to this
That's
day.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Bruce Campbell and Ash.
Yeah.
He's done with doing the role. He'll do voice stuff. You know what I mean? Like for video games and stuff like that. But he's not doing the actual physical character anymore.
Jeremy thinks Kevin Bacon would be a good Freddy.
Yep.
Well, he
Right.
looks more like the last Freddy we had.
Yeah.
Obviously.
with all
that
with all
nose.
so
like
with all that burn,
points
with all
up.
that burn makeup, Kevin Bacon would be extra crispy.
Oh,
Yeah,
and,
extra crispy bacon.
Yeah.
Jill just kind of lost her connection again.
Oh,
She'll be back.
yep. She'll be back.
When they need money, they do it again. That's what Brad's saying.
I'm just, and
Oh,
I've
and
mentioned
we
it
lost
on
her.
here.
She's gone.
I've
She'll be
mentioned
back.
it on here before. I am just so tired of the remakes, the reboots, all this other. It's like, stop. Leave them alone. Make your own new stories.
That's
Yeah,
when
well,
you brought that,
for the
I'm
most
glad you brought that up because all this talk, in case in the case like with Creepshow, because obviously just about 4 years ago they made the television series for Creepshow.
I haven't even watched any of them.
Oh, it's actually pretty good, but
Yeah.
the stories that they do, however, is they're pretty original. In fact, they I put that up. They even pay homage to the original film in a way. Like they show like certain props and stuff that you would remember from the original movie.
Yeah. I mean, the show is definitely worth seeing. I mean, like that's one of the main reasons why I got Shudder. Like that horror app,
Right.
horror streaming app. Yeah, it's a good show. I mean, it's not as good as Tales from the Crypt, but it's definitely better than Creepshow 2.
You know what? It actually,
Wow.
even though it's part of the
That's not a
franchise,
far stretch.
it actually ignores the sequel to it actually ignores Creepshow 2. It just focuses right on the original because if you notice one thing obviously between the two movies is the creep, the host of the film of both movies. In the original one, he was just basically a skeleton.
Like a skeleton. Yeah.
Just a skeleton who kind of some people say he was like supposed to look like a bride in the live action sequences, but that was
Like
it wasn't a bride. It was just his cloak that he was wearing. But he's a skeleton. He looks at you in the camera, and he never really he doesn't really talk at all. All he does is cackle. And then in the secondary film, he's fully fleshed. He's more of like a almost like a warlock kind of character, and he actually talks.
Right.
So
and they do a cartoon version and a IRL version.
Yeah, the IRL version.
Oh, yeah.
In the television series, it pretty much goes back to what the creep was in the original film. It's back to he's not as skeletal as the original film. I mean, he still is, but he's kind of more of a zombie, almost more like that of a zombie than a skeleton. But they continue the tradition where, as far as from what Don and I have seen, again, he doesn't really talk at all in the show. All he does is cackle and
cackle and point.
Yeah, cackle and point, and and of course, obviously, when they show the comics, they do speech bubbles, and they even continue on the tradition of kind of the comic kind of feel to it.
That you had with the first one.
Yeah, with the first one,
Right.
they continue on. They also even do animation, which is
good.
It's good. I mean, yes, some of it is CGI, but there's other times where it is handwritten animation going back to the original.
Yeah,
and very much like Tales from the Crypt, when the creep is in live action mode, once again, just like the Crypt Keeper, it's not played by an actor, it's a puppet that they use.
Yeah.
Hello, boys and ghouls.
Oh, here's Jill back. She's back.
Okay. All right.
Yep, there we go.
We're bringing Jill back.
Maybe she might be
or we're not.
Yep,
hopefully.
She's
bringing the circle
she's always
back.
been having a lot of connection issues, so
we do have just a few more minutes of this, so
yeah. Oh, Todd, do you mind if I show you that clip that I was gonna play through? So before we leave, there's something I want to show you guys. I'm not going to be able to show the whole thing because it's like a 15-minute clip, so I'm only just going to show like maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it.
Okay.
But it's a rare interview. Like I said, Tom, if you didn't see, it's a rare interview of Tom Savini talking about the movie of Creepshow. But what's even more amazing about this interview, the show that he was on, it was actually on a show on Nickelodeon. Like the least expected appearance for him. And Jill's back, by the way. It's the least expected appearance you would see, but he talks about Creepshow in front of this teenage audience. So I got the link right here, so I'm going to share the screen. So just bear with me for just a second, and I'll get started with it right away.
Here. I'm feeling cavalier. Sorry.
Wait,
Let's see.
I didn't even hear that.
Let's see it.
Okay. All right, here it is.
Seeing someone's head fly
Mr.
off
Methook.
or meltdown. Well, if you did, it was probably the work of our first guest, master of the macabre, creator
All right, come on.
of special makeup effects for shockers like Dawn of the Dead, Maniac, and I can't
Oh, what the hell? Jeez.
What's up, Mr. Methook?
say this without getting cold chills. Friday the 13th. Please
Here, let
welcome
me just go back for a quick second because I hate when I have these buffering issues.
shockers like Dawn of the Dead, Maniac, and I can't even say this without getting cold chills. Friday the 13th. Please welcome Tom Savini.
Watch this. Watch
What
this.
the hell is up with that?
Just watch his eyes. Look at that.
Nice.
How can I deal with this? This is unbelievable.
Problem, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I better take them out if I'm going to talk to you.
Okay. Oh. They're
Oh,
like contact lenses? These are just
They're called sclera.
sclera. Were they plastic? So,
Plastic glass.
and these, let's see those fangs again. And you can, geez, that's a,
Sometimes the tops are more effective, but then it gives you a lisp and you can't really talk with them,
vampires, probably vampires.
There you go.
And those are specially made for you.
Yeah, I made them from a cast of my own teeth.
Tell me about this whole thing of special effects. It's really gone through a lot of
he
change.
talks a little bit
in the
about
past
the
20
effects
years.
briefly, and then he goes
So
into
follow that.
Creepshow.
Tell us about the history of special effects.
Well, there's all sorts of special effects used in films. Traveling mats, opticals, glass paintings. This is just an example of makeup special effects, which is what I do, and that's what my credit usually is in films. Makeup special effects have always been around. Wizard of Oz, way back into silent films, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney. That's what started for me. I saw a film called Man of a
Come on,
Thousand
sex
Faces,
machine.
the story of Lon Chaney, and from that moment on, makeup's been my thing.
Oh, it's gotten very technical. Show us some of the things you have here.
Sure, these
Okay.
are all things from a movie I just finished called Creepshow, where, well, first let me say that Creepshow is my opportunity to get away from blood and gore films, splatter films, as they've been called. Okay, splatter films are on the way out. And the
No, they're not.
remaking The Thing, they're remaking The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I'm lucky enough to have
Should I say that's good news? I mean,
Oh, yeah, I
either
think
way,
it's great
either
news.
way,
I
I can
think
tell
it's
you this is
fabulous
scare me out of
news.
the seat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fabulous news. And I'm lucky enough to have just finished a film that has used lots of monsters and creatures and special makeups, and that's what these are a part of. This is, an over-the-head mask the guy wore
I got my cake.
coming out of a grave, rising to it. Yeah, I don't know if you see that. See that stringy stuff in his teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Creepshow is a living comic book, and the stringy stuff between all these monsters' teeth has always been sort of a trademark of that kind of comic book. So this is made from latex and Rice Krispies and
Rice Krispies, really?
yeah, Rice Krispies. It's molded from the life mask of the actor who wears it. He wears it like a mask. It's got a fiberglass insert, so the lower jaw will move at once like a real that's skeleton wood.
That's a long way from Snap, Crackle, Pop, let me tell you.
These are
You know that hand, right, Don?
Yeah, these are slip-on.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember, these comic books were from like the 50s, right?
Oh yeah,
And they had all these things. Yeah.
Oh, they were. You talk about splatter. Those comic books were full of splatter and gore and stuff.
Well, now what are these we got here?
Okay, this is an animated hand. If you can see that on the camera. So the fingers are movable. It moves exactly the way a real hand would move.
So you've actually got like a bone structure of an armature inside
Oh yeah,
there.
there's an armature. This goes crawling across the floor and grabs it out his hand like that. He throws it off and it goes
That
crawling.
is awesome.
Yeah, it's got a good grip on it too.
It
if you know.
really does. Oh God, show us. Oh, what are we?
Okay,
Oh,
this
wait.
is,
That's got a nice grip
there's
on
a
it.
monster.
I'll be right back.
There's a monster in Creepshow that I can't show you or tell you about. He's been nicknamed Fluffy. We want to keep him a secret for when he appears in the film. This is his hand, though. It's not decorated, and it's not.
So there's a real hand inside there.
Oh yeah, the actor who wears Fluffy wears the hands also. This is what's left of Adrienne Barbeau once Fluffy gets a hold of her. Hi, boys and girls.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what's left of her.
Oh my god.
You
And
watch. This will take your eye. Oh, that's gonna be scary.
And this was just on the way the corpse hand comes out of the mold before we decorate it with the Rice Krispies and the latex.
So this again is cast in latex?
Right, this is called foam latex.
Foam, okay.
One of the innovations of special effects. And
Now, you've got something big here.
are we ready to go over here?
Yeah, let's try something. Show me what I should do here.
What are we going to call somebody out of the audience, perhaps?
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Okay.
You hold this and push all these levers forward when I tell you to, okay?
All right.
And I'll operate this thing. Let's see if we can lift it up here a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's, what,
So
now I
you
just
push
these
all those
push?
levers
Here we go.
forward, right?
Oh, that's
Let's have a
amazing.
volunteer here.
Incredible.
Pick out.
Hey, Chris, come on over.
Okay, we got Chris here. Want to shake hands with him, Chris? Now,
Okay, Chris.
open the hand. When Chris grabs it, close it. There you go. Not too hard, Chris. This is a real skeleton. He's really fresh.
This is a real skeleton?
It's a real skeleton imported from India. The boxes these things come in, they have to be labeled as to the origin. And I had 3 or 4 skeletons ordered from this company in North Carolina. When they arrived, the boxes all said shipped from India. So,
Times are tough.
well, I guess in India.
Show you do what you want with Chris. I don't know
Okay.
what to do here.
Are we on the face? Because we can do a thing with
All
the
right.
face here.
Let's try the face.
Why don't you grab this mechanism? Oh yeah, Chris. Now what you need to do, Chris? Maybe you should stay over there.
Okay.
Push those forward. Push those levers. Don't do it yet, though. I have to turn him on. Turn the power on.
This is radio control, so you're actually into...
Yeah, these are. This is all part of remote control airplanes. You know, kids who go out and fly these planes. Inside the head, he's full of remote control mechanisms in there that'll make him do this.
I'll just play another minute and then
Okay,
we'll
when I
end
say
this.
push those forward, push them
Oh,
forward, okay?
okay, there we
Go
go.
ahead now.
Oh,
See that? Now, it took 11 people to operate. You can let go of that now.
Incredible, dude.
Here.
Relax a smile. Oh,
Yeah.
that's some... Thanks, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chris.
Dad,
Oh, we lost Tom.
this would be a part. The camera selectively takes it.
Oh,
So you
sure,
think
sure.
this is the whole creature here, and you've got people all off frame operating?
Right. When you see this creature, he's got a costume on, a very free-flowing costume. He's got a hood on. There's a wind machine going, so his hair is blowing. The costume is swirling. And the 11 people behind him,
Yeah,
are
Nick.
making him look up.
yeah, I was going to say, I was just about to end it because you guys get the idea, but you guys can check out the rest of it, though. It's a pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Where'd everybody go?
I was trying to tell you, we just lost Tom.
And we lost. Well, here comes Jill. He's coming back.
Yep, Jill's back.
Jill's back. There you are.
Yeah,
She's muted.
You're
You're muted, Jill.
You're muted. You're muted.
There you go. Now you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So we're just about to end this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Yeah. So we really enjoyed having you on, Jill.
I think she's frozen. I think she's frozen again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
she again. This is typical. I mean, she's had this.
Can
issue.
you hear me now?
Yep. Now we can hear it. There you go. There you go.
Yep. So yeah, Jill,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
really-
No, you're good. You're fine. But unfortunately, we are about to end it, though. As much as we really want to stay on, but even though you weren't, even though you came on, I think it was like about 20 or so minutes ago. We definitely really appreciate you having you on.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's great to.
Oh,
great
yeah.
to find.
I've been watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of figured, I just basically had the idea of thinking, she's been on a number of our other shows, so why not have her on this show?
Oh yes.
So-
I always appreciated the great comments you've always left, Jill. So hey, I really appreciate your love for this show.
Love you guys.
Sorry, you froze there.
Okay,
for a
I'm gonna
second.
jump off.
Yeah, we'll have you back on again soon, Jill.
Oh yes, for sure.
Okay.
You have a
Bye.
good night.
Hey, you have a great night, Jill. Take care.
Well, what can I say, Don? That was quite a show.
This has been a great show. I really appreciate you showing that clip in the end. That was amazing.
It was an eye opener, right? There were
Really
I'm
was.
sure there were some things that you didn't even know, that the creep itself was a real skeleton.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Just don't see that with movies anymore. I'm sure nowadays it's got to be extremely illegal to buy a real skeleton for a movie.
Yeah, because like many people would consider that desecrating remains or something. Like they would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
people would have
if
bigger issue with it today. Yeah.
it was still legal, I would have said, if they want to use a skeleton, use mine.
Yep. Like forget donating your skeleton to science. The horror movie industries need it.
I'll do it.
Oh man!
All right. Well, this has been an awesome show.
Oh yeah,
Don. I just got to ask one final question before we get off. So what did you think of I mean, obviously you've already met Tom, but what did you think of Adam and Jill? Nothing like stabbing yourself with a screwdriver, removing supports from 3D crap.
Ooh.
Dude, did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, I think Brad just hurt himself. Oh,
see, at first I thought he was joking, but now actually looking at it, it's like, you're all right there?
Hope you're okay, man.
Oh, he says not too bad. Okay.
Okay. Well, as long as you're gonna be okay, dude.
Yeah, that's quite scary to think about, though. Oh, yeah. He says it's all good. Okay, so it sounds like from what he's saying, it's nothing serious. So
okay, I'm glad. Oh man, well, today's been a great show. Yeah, really glad we've had all these people on. Meeting Adam. Having Tom back on. He's always fun to have out here. So
he's always on. And then having Jill, one of our biggest super fans.
Yes, I want to say thank you, Jill, and thank you, Tom, thank you, Adam, for joining us on this. And we'll till next time. Same time next week, 8:30 Tuesdays. I can't wait to get back on this with another topic to cover. So,
Don, really quickly, because Brad pointed this out. He will bring that lightsaber that he made for you to the Perry Unity Con, so I could bring it to you, unless you're able to come out to it. So,
what day is that?
That's Saturday, October 22nd.
I might be able to. I'll have to see what my schedule will be.
He put his blood, sweat, and tears into his work. I think Jeremy's referring to Brad.
Yes,
if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Brad says he doesn't trust the mail anymore. Jill just said this. Loved the whole show, of course. Next time she could hopefully stay connected. Jill, we love you too. And like I said, we'll definitely have you back on real soon, and hopefully your connection will be a lot better next time. Let's see. Oh, this is for you, Don. If you come, you will see my kid dressed in her zombie hunter costume. I've heard of.
Nice.
He's told me about that before, and I haven't seen it, but from what Brad has told me, though, I heard it's really awesome.
Hey, anything that involves zombies. Yeah, it's.
Hey, I'm wearing a Walking Dead T-shirt right now.
I know. I was looking at that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wrap this up. I want to say thank you everybody for tuning in, and I had a lot of fun talking about this film. So until next time, can't wait to get back on this next week. So.
Yep. We don't know what we're going to be talking about next week, but we'll come up with something. But the best way to end this, Don, as the Creepshow says in Creepshow 2, till next issue, try to stay scared.
So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.